Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. 7:02, September 28th, 2023, Bloomfield Town Planning and Zoning Commission. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the August 24th, 2023 meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Your second?
Second.
Been moved in second. Are there any corrections? I had one small one. On page 3. In the first public question comment section, where it starts with Chair Bonnie Berkowitz of EDCDA. The third name in there says Mr. Stephanie Calhoun. And I think that should be Mrs. Stephanie Calhoun with the IE.
Good catch.
And that was,
I'll make that correction. Sorry.
okay, oh, no problem. That was all I had. If there's no further corrections, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Already moved and seconded.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, chair votes aye. First item on the agenda is a continuation of a public hearing from August 24th, 2023 meeting. I'll read the application. Public hearing regarding a text amendment to the Bloomfield zoning regulations to create a new section 6.13, accessory renewable energy structures for residential uses. This new section will provide requirements and standards for the installation of building mounted solar panels, freestanding solar panels, and parking lot canopy solar panels. Is there a motion to reopen this application?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. Was there an oppose? Leon? Oh, okay. Abstentions and the chair votes aye. Okay, Justin, is there anyone here for that application?
Yeah, so Mr. Chairman, this is a commission initiated application. We've been putting it off for a while, and I hate to say it, but due to the size of the agenda, I think it probably makes sense to table it again tonight. There's with a town initiated amendment, there's no time frame on it. We can keep it open as long as we like, so it probably makes sense to hold off on this one for now.
Okay. All right, Chair will entertain a motion to table this application again.
Make a motion to table the application again.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, chair votes aye. Next item on the agenda also is a continuation public hearing from the August 24th meeting. I'll read the application. Special permit application for Michael Brown for approval to open an outdoor gastro park consisting of approximately 4 licensed food trucks at property located at 64 Jerome Ave in a BCD zone. Owner is Connecticut Medical Realty, LLC. Is there a motion to reopen this application?
So moved.
It's been moved in second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstention, chair votes aye. Okay, Justin.
So within the past couple days, we received a letter from the applicant withdrawing this application for now. They plan to come back in sometime over the winter with a more detailed plan, but for now, it's withdrawn. So there's no vote necessary from you.
All righty. This application is withdrawn, so we'll Close this one out.
So what would be, I guess, like, what would be the procedure again? Remind me, Justin? What we need, what would be our next steps?
So there's nothing needed to do right now with this. The letter of withdrawal will be included in the record. And there's no action to take because it's not an officially submitted application anymore.
Okay, so we've just closed the public hearing, correct?
Correct.
So
Okay.
move that we close this public hearing for the application.
All righty. Is there a
Second.
second?
I'll
Been
second that.
moved in second. Any further discussion?
Just one point of order, Mr.
Mhm.
Chair.
Yes.
Since there are two alternates here tonight, should we decide whether or not we're both voting with eight
I think
members?
you're the only alternate, Katie.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting
Right.
Michael is not. Okay, so do
You're
I?
in.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're on tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm. And actually, I was going to mention that once we got to the new public hearings, but that's a good point. You brought it up now.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay, so we did vote on that to close that application, correct? Oh, no, I think Katie had discussion on that. Okay. All those in favor of closing that application signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose, abstention, chair votes aye. Okay, the next item on the agenda also is a continuation of public hearing from the August 24th meeting. I'll read the application. Special permit application from Alan Franco for approval to open and operate a dance studio at property located at 31 Toby Road, Unit 1415 in the I-1 zone. Owner 31 Toby Road, LTD. Is there a motion to reopen this application?
So, Mr. Chairman, this hearing was actually closed last month. We don't need to reopen it. It's just the decision this month.
Okay. Okay, can you just kind of refresh me on that when you say the decision?
Sure. So last month, we closed the public hearing because we were out of time to keep the public hearing open. A
Okay.
little bit of background on this one. Basically, there was an application that came in, had to be tabled for a bit because the neighbor notifications weren't sent out on time. So it got tabled. I think it got tabled a second time. So that ran us out of the public hearing clock. We haven't heard anything from the applicant, so it was kind of radio silence there, but we did hear from the property owner, and that lease is not going forward. So at this point, the only thing to do would be for the commission to vote to deny it.
Okay. All right. So at this point, then, is there a motion to approve this application?
So move.
Is there a
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any further discussion on it? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose,
Opposed.
Opposed.
Closed.
abstention? The chair votes aye. Oh, I'm sorry. The chair votes no. Deny that.
And
Okay,
Is this denied without prejudice in case it comes back to us?
yes, I believe so. Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda also is a continuation of public hearing from August 24th. I'll read the application and then I'll turn the meeting over. The next application is a special permit application from AYR Wellness Incorporation to construct a 64,000 square foot, one-story building for use as a cannabis cultivation facility at property located at 101 Granby Street in an I-1 zone. Owner is Granby Toby LLC. Is there a motion to reopen this application?
So move.
And I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose, abstention, and the chair will abstain and recuse herself At this point, I'll turn this application over to Kevin Hussein, who presided over it last month. And Kevin, there's only one alternate. So I will recuse myself at this point. Kevin can take over.
Yes, thank you. Justin, for those that missed the last time, and I think everyone is here, but it's just a quick refresher where we're at before we throw it over to the applicant for a presentation.
Sure. So this is an application for 101 Granby Street, which is the southwest corner of the intersection of Granby and Toby Road. It's actually the first property into Bloomfield once you come north of Hartford. This application is for a cannabis cultivation facility. You probably recall our regulations for cannabis cultivation and other uses went into effect last year in 2022. This is the second application we've seen for a cannabis cultivation facility. The first one was at 10 Mosey Drive, which was approved, I think, in February or March, somewhere around there. This applicant is proposing a facility at that corner of Toby and Granby. Last month, we had a lengthy discussion with the applicant in terms of the site design, the building design, everything like that. They made some changes based on the comments from the commission, and staff reviewed them. They look pretty good in terms of the new facade that they're proposing and the architecture. And I think other than that, they're here to present tonight. So we'll hold our questions until after, but for now, I think it makes sense to turn it over to the applicant.
Thanks, Justin. So we'll turn over to the applicant now for the presentation. Thank you.
So good evening. For the record, my name is Jim Cassidy with the engineering firm LC Pearson and Cassidy. Here present tonight representing ARY Wellness. Justin, first of all, do you see anybody from CHK Architects in your on your?
Yes, I do. Let me promote them there.
Promote them, because the majority of it is going to be their portion of the presentation.
Sure.
And while he's doing that, I'll just go through my portion. So again, thank you for having us this evening. We were before you last month when we presented an application for the development of a piece of property. It's okay, Justin, I'm going to share my screen. Second, so I can see everybody. Okay, can you see my screen now?
You can see it, Jim.
Okay, thank you. So again, last month we were before you, we presented our application for a special permit for the development of a piece of property at 101 Granby Street near Bloomfield. This proposal was for the development of a parcel of land to be a new building to be constructed that would be a cultivation facility. Just a brief overview of the property again. On my computer. First site photo is an existing site photo. The property is located on the easterly side of Granby Street on the bottom. To the north is Toby. The overall area outlined in yellow is a site consisting of 7.84 acres of I-1 industrial zone land. As Justin had mentioned, the Hartford city line is the southerly boundary here. You can see that the property was previously developed. There's remnants of slabs and old parking areas on the site at this point. What we're looking to do is to construct a new 64,000 square foot one-story building, shown or represented by the light tan rectangle in the center of the site. In addition to, we're looking to construct a parking lot around that building, sorry, which would consist of a total of 79 parking spaces, 2 access ways, one down here at the southeasterly corner of the site and one at the midpoint where there's an existing curb cut, providing parking for 79 spaces for the employees. And an additional area off to the side you see in red, this would be a deferred parking area for another 38 parking spaces to meet the requirement of the zoning regulations, which requires to provide a total of 128 spaces. To the south, there would be 2 loading docks. The center space is for a dumpster enclosure. The one on the other side would be a loading dock. Main access driveway to that loading area is on the south side. And then there is a perimeter drive for fire apparatus and emergency vehicles around the site. As part of the previous presentation, what we also had mentioned is that we're proposing to put at that time, we're looking at putting a chain link fence around the entire perimeter of the parking lot, down the side access drive, down the rear, and then back down a loading space. That was going to be an 8-foot high chain link fence with vinyl slats. The commission asked us to go back and take another look at that to see if we could do something a little more attractive on the fence. We did, and we found out based upon, and Fred, just correct me if I'm wrong on this, security measures that we're providing inside the building and on the outside, we can actually go to a more decorative fence with no screening, so no vinyl slats. So what we've done on the site plan is we modified it. So from the point opposite the front corner of the building, all the way down the side, down the entire frontage, and then back down this side to the right front point of the building. We're proposing to do that with a ornamental picket fence. Hard to kind of see on a plan. So what we did is we had some renderings done of the site to give a better example of what the site would look like from the road with ornamental picket fence. So it'd be a black ornamental picket fence along the entire frontage, in addition to the gates. There are, sorry. So this would be a rendering as you look at it, heading back in a southerly direction, back down Granby Street, back towards the building. Then there was one more rendering with an actual streetscape taking a look at that same perspective. We had proposed, or we still are proposing, a series of canopy trees along the entire frontage. And if anyone's been out there, you'd find at the northeasterly corner of the site, corner of Toby and Granby Street, there's a very large existing tree, which is shown just on the right-hand side of this page. That tree would stay in place. We have no activity in that tree, so it would be a nice screen for the overall building. The majority of your other comments dealt with the actual design of the building. So I think I have is Karen from CHK Architects with us, Karen, Mary, and Rich Kaiser from CHK Architects with us tonight. So I'm going to have them go over what they've changed on the building. And please, guys, let me know if I need to blow anything up for you to make it easier to see.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
We hear you.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay. So during our last meeting on August 28th, we shared our original design of the elevations, which only had metal panels on the exterior of the building. And we are creating some visual interest in the elevations by varying the colors and textures of those metal panels. So also during that meeting, we received some helpful feedback from the commissioners regarding using more than one material in the building design. So we took those comments into consideration and we revised our building design to add a large masonry element on the building. Where Jim's red cursor is circling is the masonry element. Jim, are you able to zoom in on that area a little bit closer?
If I can't do it this way, I can go to a PDF. Give me 1 second here.
Thank you.
Let me just switch over to a PDF real quick where I know I can zoom up on it. Sorry.
That's perfect. Okay, so this masonry element, it creates a focal point on the Granby Street elevation and it also accentuates the building. For the masonry, we chose to use ground face concrete masonry units, and a little bit of background information about ground face masonry is that each masonry unit is ground on one or more sides of the block, so it exposes the aggregate and it provides an appearance that has like a lot of variety and texture and color. So it's really rich in appearance and it creates a lot of visual interest. We also created some patterning with that masonry. As you see, there's a darker color at the bottom of the building. and then it sort of transitions upwards into a lighter masonry color. So the darker, heavier masonry grounds the building, and then there's a natural progression upwards to the lighter, more refined masonry. And for the colors, we chose some neutral tones. And if you could zoom out a little bit, Jim, to show where some of the blue panels are. So the blue is one of AYR's corporate colors, but we also think it fits in with the very neutral and sort of earth tones that are on the building. So the masonry colors would coordinate with the metal panel colors. So I also wanted to talk about a roof screen that's on top of the building. There are some rooftop units and HVAC equipment that sits on top of the building. So we're proposing to put a roof screen on 3 sides of the building, the Granby Street side, plus the 2 short sides. And we're proposing to use perforated metal for the material. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a photograph of the perforated metal. So you can see that it's light and airy, and it still screens out the rooftop elements, but it's not, so opaque that it's overpowering. So we think it will create a lot of visual interest, and we think it looks nice. So I think I'm going to jump over to the renderings next. If you could pull those up, please. Okay, so this is a view looking down Granby Street. In our last meeting on August 28th, we were under the impression that the Department of Consumer Protection required a closed privacy fence around the building perimeter. Then after the meeting, AYR had reached out to the Department of Consumer Protection and got some more clarification. We found out that a closed privacy fence is actually not required by the Connecticut regulations. So we went back to the drawing board and revised our design of the fence. So now we're proposing to use an ornamental fence, like it's shown in the rendering, and it has some vertical pickets on top. So the ornamental fence is open, it's decorative, it screens out the building, but it also offers a sense of privacy of the building. So anybody, passing by on Granby Street, they're not going to have any idea of what's going on inside of the building. There's like no clues at all of what's going on inside the building. The building is completely screened out and it's very private. We also think that this building design fits in within the industrial context of the neighborhood. A lot of the nearby buildings are either masonry, brick, or metal panels. And we believe that the aesthetic of this building will enhance that area. And I also wanted to talk about the landscaping and site features. There are a lot of existing trees on this site, and there's a lot of new landscaping going in. So this particular location has more privacy than a lot of the neighboring buildings. So I think that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time.
Karen, can you also just mention, I know there's a question last time about the noise levels from the units on the roof. And I believe you read about the mechanic.
I can address that. Our mechanical engineer, I'm Rich Kaiser from CHK. Our mechanical engineer provided us with some information about the rooftop units. The rooftop units that are used in a cultivation facility are very sophisticated units, and there's going to be a number of 45-ton units on the building. And the way these units work for this type of facility is that they're actually have what are called modular compressors. So instead of one giant compressor running this rooftop unit, there's 6 much smaller compressors, and they're a much more expensive type compressor. They're a scroll type compressor instead of a piston type compressor. So by the nature of a scroll type compressor, they're much quieter, and because there's 6 of them, they're much smaller. So these rooftop units are going to be considerably quieter than your typical 45-ton rooftop unit that you might see on top of a Home Depot or a Lowe's or a large warehouse type building. So I think, well, we know that this building will be much quieter than some of its neighbors. Okay.
So with
Yes.
that, go ahead. Sorry, Mary.
We also have two more renderings, if you could pull those
Sure.
up. This is another view looking down Granby Street. Toby Street would be on your right, so it shows the corner. And as Jim mentioned, the decorative fence is in front of the building and it wraps a portion of the side up to the corner. And then it turns into chain link. Yes, it turns into chain link from that point backwards and around the back of the building. And Jim, if you could go to the next rendering. This is a street view where we superimposed the building on the actual site. So you can get a sense of what the context is and what the other buildings around it look like. And we think it does fit in pretty well here. Thank you.
So with that, I think for the site portion and for the architectural portion, that would conclude our portion of the presentation. I don't know, Fred or Gianna, if you have anything else that you would like to add.
Do you have anything to add, Fred?
No, I'm good. I think Jim and CHK addressed all the comments and the revisions that we made. I just want to reiterate that this is a cultivation facility and not open to public. As you can see, just we're trying to beautify the building as much as possible to fit in the neighborhood and just put a nice building out there.
Thank you. And I'll just be very brief to thank the commission for the opportunity to take back your feedback and make those adjustments. We certainly are committed to continuing to work with the town and hoping for your unanimous support on this application. A couple of things that came up at the last meeting with respect to the TI improvements and what that type of financing would be used for. I did have an opportunity to speak with, I believe it's Dr. Poland, who was a consultant with the town with kind of putting out that plan. So for Toby Road and Granby Street, some of the site improvements that this type of funding would be able to be used for are facade improvements and pedestrian amenities, including sidewalk, bus shelters, and lighting, which I travel on that road quite often to go to the grocery store. So I know that the community would certainly appreciate those types of improvements. I see folks standing, waiting for the bus, and there aren't any shelters. And so that would be a great way to leverage the TI improvements for the benefit of those who traverse that area to go to work and things of that nature. And so that's pretty exciting to have the opportunity to do that. And just lastly, we have started our community canvassing, put a little bit of a pause on it, just wanting to obviously get the feedback and the turnout today. We have had about 250 to 300 responses for our survey. And I just wanted to provide the link in case anybody is interested in participating in that survey. Essentially, it's a survey asking residents how companies such as ours can be good corporate partners and neighbors, and leveraging a portion of our, our income, our revenue to benefit the town outside of what the tax revenue would do, but making direct investments in certain programming. And so I just want to put that up for folks who may be watching, if I could figure out how to do it. Give me a second. There we go. If I can share my screen. There we go. So it is a social equity survey, Connecticut social equity survey that you can go to. You can take the surveys. I think it's just a few questions, and essentially it just asks the types of programs and initiatives that residents would like to see in their town. So like I said, we've gotten about 250 to 300 responses between Bloomfield and Hartford, and we're excited to be able to share that report with you all once it's completed, but certainly it's still open to get more input, because essentially that will direct the organizations that we partner with and the type of initiatives that we invest in based on what we hear from residents and what folks would like to see and where they think the support would be most needed. So again, I thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all today and to present these updates. And so we're excited about the potential of working with you all in the town.
All right, thank you very much. I'll turn over now to Justin for staff comments.
All right, so yeah, I mean, you can see that they have adjusted their design a little bit. Staff feels like the new design fits, and provides some sort of unique texture to the building as opposed to just a flat front, same color building. We did receive several comment letters in support of this application, which have been forwarded to you over the past couple of days. So you should have those in your packets now. We did have a couple of questions that came in. One question that came up was the size of the facility in terms of the 60,000 plus square feet. Is that size similar in dimension to other facilities that AYR has around the country? Is it, bigger, smaller, or just right in line with what you're looking for?
I can answer that question. Just for the record, my name is Fred Aboud, representing Air Wellness here today. So this is in line with our other facilities. And we do have bigger facilities in some states, again, depending on the market and the state itself. But this is totally in line with other states.
Okay. Beyond that, I mean, the staff report from last time remains the same. I mean, there wasn't a lot of site changes that affected, the land itself. So the report you have from last month with the conditions is still what staff is recommending. But if you have any questions for John or I, John's been reviewing these plans as well. Feel free to let us know.
All right, thank you, Justin. Now we'll entertain questions from the public relevant to the applications. Questions from the public. Again, please indicate by raising your hand on the Zoom, and then we will bring you in. Again, going once, questions from the public.
Looks like we have Steve Kaplan who's here.
Go ahead, Steve, name and address and proceed. You are muted right now.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to me. And I have a few questions that a few comments. My name is Stephen Kaplan, and together with my wife, Ellen Fisher, we own the property right next door, 31 Toby Road. It's a multi-use flex building, pretty much fully tenanted. And we are strategically placed somewhere between the proposed new facility and the previously proposed facility on Moses. We're feeling a little hemmed in, that there's a concentration of this use in our neighborhood. We wonder what it is that is of specific uniqueness to this site, that it makes it the only site that you are proposing to proceed with. What is the unique nature of this site?
Applicant?
Questions, or
Someone from the applicant can respond to Mr. Kaplan's first question.
Sure. I'll let Fred maybe address some of the specific criteria, but in terms of the state regulations, there are there are only specific areas that these facilities can be in, disproportionately impacted areas, and that was the regulatory intent behind that, was for the tax revenue to benefit those areas that have been most impacted by the war on drugs, right? And so putting the facility in a more wealthier, more urban, or a more rural area, while it may be great to be remote, it wouldn't strike the regulatory intent of being able to hire from those communities, and most importantly, the tax revenue being able to benefit those communities. So the state regulation.
I'm asking this,
So the state regulation
Sorry.
has
I'm out.
the codes and specific areas within towns where these facilities can go, specific census tracts. So this was the area in the census tract that allows us to attract employees from communities that have been underserved and fits all the other technical criteria that, you know, the architects can go more into detail about. But my priority is to benefit Black and brown communities. And in order to do that, I need to be somewhere where people can access those, the site, and also meet.
I understand, thank you. I actually asked about the specifics of this location. There are other locations that would qualify under the guidelines, especially in the town. And even more to the point, there's a very functional building right up the street that's been vacant for quite a long time and could be renewed. I mean, it's got all the infrastructure, it's got the size. It needs to be, you know, maybe raised to another floor. But I'm going to ask you a question again, What about this specific location makes it the premier choice of this company, as opposed just what other sites did you look at? And this one is got the element that the others don't.
Let me answer the question. And good evening, Mr. Steve. So in regards to other existing structures in there, we looked at existing buildings, and not a lot out there that you're referencing would fit our criteria or the checklist that we have for a cultivation site. Again, this is a very sophisticated, complex application that requires some infrastructure to be in place. And when this infrastructure is not found in existing buildings, the best way to go is a ground up building. And we found that this site presents the right size and the right criteria for us to go in and put a ground up building, whether from a building height, building size, developing a brownfield that's existing, and just being in the area that Tiana mentioned that we are restricted to be in by the state.
All right. I find that a very simplistic answer. I hope the commission does as well. And I'm pretty sure that they do know and do understand that an existing building already has the infrastructure that you're looking to do on this site. I see what you're proposing. I understand in my own opinion that this site is being overbuilt. So I'm going to go back quickly to one thing. Actually, I'd like to ask a question of Ms. Hercules. What is your relationship to this project? Are you a vested interest?
I am the owner.
Like
I am the majority owner of this business, sir.
You're the majority owner of the business. Is this one of those businesses, and I don't know the rule and regulations, where you have to have an associate in the community to get some of the incentive, vested incentive that there is a program for? I don't know how to word it. I just know that there's some kind of incentive program if you associate with a local individual.
There isn't an incentive program that I'm aware of, so I'm not really sure what you're describing, but
I think, Justin, you know the name of what that program is? I thought maybe you might.
The name of the, I'm not sure about incentive program.
Well, maybe incentive's not the right word. It's a program where you associate with a local individual who may be have been impacted by a drug history. We don't know what I'm talking about, Mr.
So it's I wouldn't describe it that way. Connecticut's social equity program, as I spoke to earlier, requires that these businesses benefit the communities that have been disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs. And so part of that is partnering with individuals from those communities and ensuring that the businesses inure to the benefit of those communities, both by form of ownership as well as some of the profits, tax revenue being leveraged to benefit those communities. So if that's what you're
So are
describing.
you saying that, I thought those entities had to be identified up front. So have you identified those particular entities that you're partnering with?
I don't understand your question, sir.
Well, let me move on. Who is GMX Real Estate in Illinois?
I just want to clarify this, Mr. Kaplan. Are these questions? And again, Justin, you can help me. I wanted to make sure
These are
they're
my questions.
yeah, but I guess they're relevant to the application.
Absolutely. It is on the application.
Okay, so
Who is GMX Real Estate? Who is GMX Real Estate? Because they have it down as an interested party on your conflict of interest.
okay, Justin or the applicant.
The applicant would be best to answer that one, but it just reminder, the commission has to decide based on land use matters, not on ownership decisions.
Well, it's part of the application. So if you don't want to answer it, I think it's a relevant question to know who the town is, who the real individuals behind the project are.
Sure, if the applicant wants to answer it, they can.
Fred, do you want me to take it? I
Yeah,
can see.
Yeah, you can take this one.
Yeah, I just don't want to get into a lengthy discussion about real estate and cannabis because it is a very complex thing. But GMX ultimately is ultimately the owners of the land, and we are leasing the land from them for this use. It's very difficult for cannabis entities, for obvious reasons, to have mortgages on land and things of that nature. So we lease the land, lease the property from the owner, which is GMX.
So GMX is the contract indeed. Is GMX the contract indeed?
You're breaking up, sir, so I'm having a hard time.
I'm asking if GMX is the contract vendee.
Sorry, you're breaking up, Mr. Kaplan.
Yeah, you're breaking up pretty bad there. Your questions are.
Let me stop my video. Maybe it will help if I stop my video.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you repeat the question, please?
I asked, is GMX the contract vendee? Did anyone hear me?
Yeah, GMX will be, just in summary, GMX will be the new landlord and we will be their tenants.
So you're acquiring the property from the present owner. Is that correct? I'm asking this to make a point. So I'm not trying to belabor.
I think, Mr. Kaplan, I think if you can, I appreciate the question. Can you just get to the land use question, I guess, if you don't mind, so we can then
Mr. Chair, can we limit the questions and comments to 2 minutes, please, so we can keep
No, I
moving?
have more to say. I mean,
all right, Mr. Kaplan, if you have any more, I'm sorry, Mr. Kaplan, if you have any more land use questions, let us know because the commissioners have questions too. So let's see if you have any.
Okay, that's
and during comments, you can come back with it.
But I'd like to ask mine. Okay, I did some measurement that as best I could from a single zone, and I would like to have someone in the town confirm the measurements that I have from the corner of the closest property on in Bloomfield on one of the streets, which is called North Cannon, to Toby Road. I mean, to Granby Street, and just the stipulation in the code says can't be allowed less than 300 feet. I'd like somebody to verify that from I think the property number was 191 North Cannon, the back property line of that location to the property line of this property. So that's one thing. I'm just going to run through my new question maybe not expect the answer. So that was one thing I got. You can go to Google Earth. I got this at 300 feet. I'd like to also ask, and actually, I'd like to get an answer to this one, perhaps from.
All right, Mr. Kaplan, can you just wrap it up in 30 seconds? I'm sorry, we have a lot more questions than the applicant.
Well, I'd
we
like
can
them to
wrap this
discuss.
up.
I'd like them to discuss the applicability of the deed restriction to the intended use.
Again, I'm not sure if that's a land use question.
That's a land use question. Of course.
What was-
There's
what was the
a
question?
deed restriction. I'd like to know the applicability of the deed restriction for the intended use.
All right, can we just have someone answer this last question from Mr. Kaplan as we move
No,
on?
I have some other questions.
Mr. Chair, again, point of order. We should set time limits for questions and comments. We have to keep it moving.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bolton. All right, Mr. Kaplan. All right, Mr. Kaplan, we're gonna have to end the questions right now for you and give other.
What is the answer to that? If you could just indulge me that last question. What is the relation? Because I've had this discussion with Justin, and I feel like I should be able to answer ask my question.
All right, we'll have the applicant respond to your questions. Just resend them back to Justin and we'll see if the applicant will respond to those remaining questions.
I think it's an easy question. I'd like to know the applicability. Do you know that there's a deed restriction on this property, Evan?
I'm sorry, Mr. Kaplan, again, we have a really.
Do you know that there's a deed restriction?
Again, I apologize. We'll just have, send the remaining questions you have to Justin and we'll respond to them if you don't mind.
And just one note, Mr. Chairman, any deed restrictions are private. The town doesn't control what can happen based on deed restrictions. If there were to be an issue that needed to be resolved, the applicant would need to handle that in a civil matter.
All right, thank you. Sorry, Mr. Kaplan. If you have any comments, we'll have 2 minutes after that for comments too. All right.
I have one last question. There is no scale.
Sorry,
to this.
Mr. Kaplan, I'm
Excuse
sorry.
me, I'm entitled to speak. You can't just say, after 2 minutes, I have.
No, but
There's no scale to these. Evan, please, give me 2 minutes.
sorry.
There is no
I'm sorry.
scale to these renderings. This is an enormous building. It's misrepresented by the renderings, and you should ask for a 3-dimensional model, which is your right to do, because there is no 3-story building in that neighborhood. There are 1-story buildings, much smaller. This is an overdevelopment of that property. And with my question that Justin posed, I'd like to know what the sizes are of all of their facilities, because 65,000 square feet is a lot of building, and the Wetlands Commission never asked for alternatives, which they were entitled to do. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kaplan. We'll get back to you, Justin, where we can respond to you in that question. All right, do we have any other questions? Justin, can we?
I hope you don't act on this proposal.
Again, can you see if there's any other questions from the public? And then we can put back Mr. Kaplan back into the attendee list. Thank you. And then see if there's any other questions from other attendees. Any other questions from any attendees? Raise your hand.
I see no hands raised.
All right, then we'll get the questions from the commission. And we'll start again based on the order of my video here. Mr. Bolton.
Mr. Commissioner Hussein, I'm always glad to be first, so I'm glad I'm number one on your screen, so thank you. Director LaFontaine, last month, I asked you this question as well. I'm going to follow up. So we created the regulations for cannabis use and for cultivation and for sale. We were restricted to 1 grow and 1 resale, one sale. I'm sorry, for our population. You informed us last month that in the legislative session, the last session, they changed that statutorily. What is the maximum amount of grow facilities and sale facilities that we can have in the town of Bloomfield?
So per state statute, there's no longer any limitation on that.
Wow.
You're right, and I don't remember if it was last session or the one right before that, but there was a change that switched it from 1 per 25,000 residents to
I remember.
no limit. So there's no, excuse me, there's no specific limit on any of those anymore.
Are we restricting these to just the I-1 zone, or is this just the I-1 zone that we've restricted these
Different uses for cannabis can go into different zones. I'm not sure exactly which ones cultivators go in offhand. They can't go in, for example, like the BCD, which is the Bloomfield Center District. But they might be in I1 and I2.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bolton. And we'll go next to Mr. Peters.
I personally don't have any new questions, and not much information has actually changed from last time to this time. So I'm standing with the same information or the same knowledge from last meeting.
Thank you. Commissioner Blint.
I just had a question on what TI stands for. Is that tax incremental financing?
Yes.
Great. And then you had mentioned that money associated with that would be used for a sidewalk, a covered bus stop, and I think that might have been it. Is that correct?
Yeah, Dr. Poland, I believe his name is, apologize if that's incorrect, gave me the plan that I guess was presented to the town maybe some time ago. And those were the things that were listed that the funds could be used for. So bus shelters, sidewalks, as well as lighting, pedestrian improvements is what they're calling it. So there's probably more under that we could imagine what that could possibly be. But those are the things that stood out for sure.
Lighting was going to be another question. Great. Pedestrian level lighting. It seems like a dark area down there, so that would be important. And is there a sidewalk that connects to the north of the site, continuing on Granby?
Currently, no.
Okay. So it would just be a sidewalk along the side of this building.
My understanding is that the sidewalk could if we were able to get these, funds. He even mentioned going all the way down towards the Hartford part, like so further down.
Further south.
Yeah, which would be really great. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I think someone just came also had messed my screen up here. So I'm going to try to go Commissioner Adams.
No questions at this time.
Thank you. Commissioner Oliver.
Yes, I believe last month we talked about percentage of employment being from the area. I just want to know what percentage, is it a percentage from the Hartford County, or is there a percentage from exactly Bloomfield residents?
My goal is 65% local hiring. And so we would need to do a little bit more research in terms of what the interest was and, where we'd be tapping into that pipeline. But a hyper local focus is my goal from Bloomfield, priority for Bloomfield, and then Hartford would be my second priority for hiring for sure.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. And Mr. Commissioner Millett.
I have no new questions since last month.
All right, thank you. I think I got everyone there. Just to pick up, I have a couple, just to pick up on Commissioner Oliver's question, not only about the local hiring, but also the construction and constructability and contracts, including the breakout packages. Can you identify a percentage that you will be doing for local hiring for our contractors in town?
Yeah, so I know it requires us to have PLAs. I don't know Bloomfield's criteria offhand. I'm more familiar with Hartford, but that would be our goal, to meet whatever the town's requirements are and so forth. Fred has a lot more experience with putting these things out for bid and kind of how they go about ensuring that those criteria are met. But it's from construction to operation, the goal is a hyper local focus, even for vendors and things of that nature. So construction for sure, ensuring we're using unionized labor and having prevailing wages. But Fred, I don't know if you want to speak to that a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Tiana. Even on the construction side, we've already met with a couple of contractors local to Bloomfield to start the conversation about just the building itself, getting some thoughts on design. As we get into the next phase, of course, if we get the approval. So even on the construction side, we're trying to keep it as local as possible, starting with contractors down to the trades themselves.
All right, thank you. And then hopefully you can work with town staff to include some of that in the final conditions if approved. I just want to have a couple more questions here on the north elevation of the building. If you can go back to that slide. There's two questions I have about that I'd like to see change. I know you have some of the new materials in the south elevation. I think we should, I know you have some loading docks there, but if you go back to the renderings, I think we need to kind of duplicate that south face onto the north face, because as you come down into Toby there's a few businesses in there, including Mr. Kaplan's business, I believe the Hooker Brewery. And if you look at that north face right now, someone can point it out for the rest of the commissioners, it's pretty a blank wall there, and that's going to be pretty exposed to the folks coming down Toby. And if you go back now to the south face, where you have the I think you had a better rendering of that somewhere to go back into the elevation view. Sorry. Right. So you see how your north face right now, there's nothing there. And then your south face, I know you have those loading docks, but at least if you can mirror the same, delineation in your color and panel onto the north face, it's going to give it a little bit of character, especially coming down Toby Road. Is the applicant okay with applying that?
We can certainly do that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not.
And in that same token, if you go back to your fence that you have there, you had it finishing up the decorative fence about halfway down on the north side with a chain link fence. I'd like a continuation of that same that ornamented fence all the way down, again, to accommodate the businesses and the users of Toby Street, so that it's one continuous and that looks like it's a nice building. Obviously, the west side doesn't need to because we have the tree lines there, so we don't need that there. So again, those are two or three of my changes, if I'm sure the applicant won't mind including, correct?
Yeah, I think those make a lot of sense, and we're definitely open to doing that.
All right, I think that's it for the questions, and now we'll go back now to the comments from the public. Again, please raise your hand, make it relevant to the application as it pertains to land use, and please keep it to within 2 minutes. Any comments from the public? Please raise your hands. Mr. Kaplan's hand is raised, Justin. You can take down the renderings, whoever is in controlling that. Thanks.
Perfect, thank you. Let's see. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Kaplan, please again announce your name and address, and then you have 2 minutes for any comments.
Can you hear me? Because I don't see me, but you can, and I don't see me coming up.
We can hear you, correct.
Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to reiterate that this is an extremely large building. The renderings don't do the justice to it. And I would recommend that you have the right to ask for an actual digital render. This is a 62,000 square foot building. It's a big building, and it's a tall, almost 32 or 35 feet. That's 3 stories. There is nothing else like this in the neighborhood. They're all a 1-story, smaller building. This is an overuse of this site. I would encourage that you ask for real renderings of what the actual building is going to look like. The renderings they presented to you are not accurate. They're just not accurate. They're exaggerated. The other point that I wanted to make was that the intention was that there was a violation because of clear cutting that was done by the prior owners, and they accepted responsibility to do some remediation. Now they're passing on that remediation to a third party. I'm not clear on how the existing owners are able to negate their penalty remediation. simply by transferring the property. But primarily, I am against the building. Many more people showed up last time. I don't know where people are, but this, I suggest, is an overuse of this site. This 7-acre site with a huge building on it. There are other buildings that should be adaptively reused such as the Beacon building that up the street that would benefit this area way more than a new building of this nature on this site.
Mr. Kaplan, 30
And
seconds.
I think you should consider that the top.
All right, thank you very much. Justin, any more comments from the public?
I don't see any more hands raised.
All right, thank you. So I'll go to comments from the commission, and I'll try to go in reverse order. So the screen has changed, so please bear with me. Commissioner Millett.
I don't have any concerns about this land use and this location. It is an industrial zone. We have approved a similar use right down the street. So I have no concerns. I do appreciate the changes for the fence. I think that will be much more aesthetically pleasing for the neighborhood and the neighbors itself. And I just would encourage, the commission and to, consider the, what's in our purview for land use, and when we're considering what restrictions or what to approve. Some of the other things are quite interesting, good background, but probably not best to be part of our decisions.
Thank you, Commissioner Millett. And Commissioner Oliver.
Just like Commissioner Millett, I agree. I'm all for this project, but I think we should eventually put a cap on how many we're going to have in our town. And I'm thankful for the improvements that you made and the agreements that you're making about the fence and adding a little bit more brick, like Commissioner Kevin said. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Oliver. Commissioner Adams.
Great upgrades. The fencing made a big difference. It's more aesthetically pleasing rather than institutionalized. Good job on the upgrades.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Peters.
So I'm probably going to be a little tougher on the aesthetic portion. I reserved these comments for the comment section and not for questions, but I wasn't fully pleased with all of the decisions made. I'm glad Commissioner Hussein made his comments regarding the north side of the building. I do feel like that could be jazzed up with a little bit of color, similar to what you did with the south side, because that is going to be a prominent side as well, passing that side of the building. It does not have enough vegetation to conceal that side of the building. So this is not a question, it is a comment. You guys should be upgrading that face. You guys should be improving the quality or the vision of that face. And there's no question that you guys can't. It's within your means. So I'm saying this as a comment and not a question. If you can do it, it can be done and it should be done. Because the rest of the improvements, I like the movements of it, but I just don't feel like we went there far enough with what you guys have done. And I think that's where I'll leave it. I think there's opportunity, and I don't think we hit the nail on the head just yet. I think we're getting there. I just want us to maximize the potential of this space, and we're almost there. We're just not there yet.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Peters. I believe it's Commissioner Blint.
I do agree with my fellow commissioners on the improvements, and specifically with Commissioner Peters that they could go a little bit further, especially on that north side. The landscaping should enhance the perimeter, so we don't just see fence, which would be great. And if sidewalk or pedestrian enhancements are possible through tax incremental funding, I would wonder if, and this is not a question, but whether or not we should consider making that a condition of approval, so that it's not just talk.
Thank you, Commissioner Blaine. Commissioner Bolden. Here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know if I'm happy being last, but you know, order, right? Ms. Hercules, Mr. Aboud, I hope I'm saying that right. To your design team, I want to just thank you guys for your presentation, for your efforts, the work that you put in. I thought you guys just presented a spectacular presentation. I grew up down the road on Rockwell Avenue, so that is my old stomping ground, that area. I'm glad to see any kind of development in that area. When we approved the first grow facility in that area, unfortunately for me, I was under the impression one was going to be it for our town. I am very concerned about cannabis growing and selling in the state, although it's legal. I have grave concerns. I was hoping that the facility that we approved in December, that built, see it in operation, and you know, had some lessons learned as to whether or not there are going to be any adverse impacts. I'm sure down the road we'll be considering some sort of sale facility for cannabis. I do have strong concerns, and I echo all of the other sentiments from the other commissioners, and I just wanted to kind of shout you guys out for your excellent presentation. I'm always biased to CHK, and my good friend Rodolfo Garcia and I finishing up a project out at Western for the state, so CHK, top-notch firm, but I have strong reservations about a second facility in the town of Bloomfield. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Bolton. I see Commissioner Adams' hands up again. Do you have a question?
No, I had a comment, just to add on to my other comment. For the side of the building that looks so blank and plain that you guys were talking about, something for consideration, maybe get an artist or a few and do some renderings to match the neighborhood. You got a brewery there, something about, you know, that can bring the neighborhood together on that wall that will be aesthetically pleasing, just like we have on the senior facility. It's just a thought.
That's actually a great idea.
Thanks, Commissioner Adams. All right, I'll wrap it up by saying, you know, I agree with everything my fellow commissioners said. Until we put a moratorium in the grow facilities, we still have to act within the rules and regulation that's presented by us based on the land use, as we did in wetlands and now in TPZ. And I do agree again, and I want to mention, and Commissioner Blinn said this, and I want to reiterate it again, and the applicant should know this. The majority of the comments we make here tonight or the questions we raise should be added to the conditions for approval, Justin. So when we, during the motion, if someone can make sure they mention that, so that the comments and the questions that we've raised there will be conditions of approval. So when it's time for the implementation, that the applicant would work with Justin to have those add-ons in there, right? Justin, correct, for the applicant, right?
Exactly. So what'll happen is the applicant will come back with sort of a more finalized set of plans that incorporate all of the technical revisions as well as the the conditions that you're talking about. Then what happens is both planning staff and wetland staff reviews it to make sure everything is covered. So yes, is a short answer.
All right, excellent.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to echo Commissioner Oliver's sentiment about us as a commission having a conversation about putting a cap at some point on these facilities. 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bolton. Again, thank you, Justin. I think with that said, we'll entertain a motions for close the hearing.
So
move.
Second. Commissioner.
All right. I do apologize. I might have missed a step. Is there any closing comments? I apologize from the applicant. I think I did miss that step. I do apologize. Any closing comments from the applicant?
Briefly, I just thank you all for your consideration and the thoughtful responses. I'm looking forward to working with the town. This is exciting for many reasons. And I'm right down the road, so it's very easy for us to be able to work together, which is exciting for me. So thank you for your comments and thank you for the opportunity to present again.
Thank you. Now we'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. I do apologize.
So move.
Second.
All right, so we have Commissioner Adams in second. All in favor? Indicate by saying aye.
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 Nays? Abstentions? And the chair voted aye, so the application is closed. We will now entertain a motion for the approval of the application.
I'll try. Commissioner Adams here. Motion to approve the request by AYR Wellness LLC for a special permit to construct cannabis cultivation facility with associated parking at 101 Granby Street in an I-1 zone. Owner Granby Toby LLC. The approval is subject to conformance and the reference plans as may be required to be modified. The representations made on the record and the 6 conditions included in the memo dated August 22, 2023, and the comments entered by the commission. Did I miss anything? Mr. Chair, did I miss anything?
Sorry. Yeah, I don't think you did. I think just make sure the site plans are updated, right, Justin? With which date are we looking at?
Yeah, so we have the most recent plan set that was submitted to the town. Let me see if I can. Jim, do you have that date offhand?
We're 20th.
I think there might have been a revision, so.
So it's
Yeah.
September 20th?
Right, correct. So
Perfect,
dated
thank you.
September 20th. That's the only other change, and I'm sure Mr. Bolton can back me up. Is there anything else we missed there, Mr. Bolton?
I think you are spot on, sir. Spot on.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Adams. Can we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Blinn? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Abstentions? Nays? The chair
Opposed.
votes. Sorry, we have one opposition, Mr. Bolton. The chair votes aye. The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
I will now throw it over back to our chair, Mr. Lester, to continue the meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. That was a great job under the conditions. That was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a new public hearing. And I'll read the notice, legal notice. Legal notice was published in the Hartford Courant, September 15th, 2023, and again on September 22nd, 2023. Notice is hereby given that the Town Planning and Zoning Commission will hold its regular meeting virtually via Zoom on Thursday, September 28th, 2023 to consider the following. A revised special permit application from Rehoboth Court LLC to increase the number of units and to reconfigure the layout from the original special permit and site plan at property located at 1120 Blue Hills Avenue in a PLR zone. Owner Rehoboth Court LLC. Okay, is there anyone here, Justin, for this application?
So Mr. Chairman, this application, staff is recommending to be tabled for this month. Our engineering department reviewed the plans and they had a couple of outstanding questions that need to be reviewed. I did speak with the applicants yesterday and today, and they are okay with that. So I would just recommend a motion to table.
Okay. Is there a motion to table this application?
So moved.
I'll second that.
It's been moved in second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstention, chair votes aye.
Sorry,
Next
Mr.
item-
Sorry,
Sure.
quick question. Are we able to, or Justin or whoever, can we remove the previous applicants from the Zoom? They're still showing up on our screen.
Yep. Give me 1 second and I can do that here. Okay, I think you should be good. It might take a second to refresh.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is also a brand new public hearing, and I'll read the legal notice. Notice published in the Hartford Current, September 15th, 2023, and again on September 22nd, 2023. Notice is hereby given that the Town Planning and Zoning Commission will hold its regular meeting virtually via Zoom on Thursday, September 28th, 2023, to consider the following: a petition by the Atrium CT LLC for a zoning regulation text amendment to allow for outdoor storage as an accessory use in a DDZ zone. Okay, Justin, is there anyone here for that?
Yep, we have Dave Ziyax here. Dave, is there anybody with you tonight or is it just you?
It's just me. I'm not sure if Rich from CHK is still floating around out there, but he's on the team as well.
Okay, Dave, before you go, let me just give instructions on how we conduct our public hearing.
Yes,
for
please
anyone
do.
that's there for the first time.
Sure.
For any first-time people sitting in on our public hearing, the way we conduct it is we'll hear a presentation from the applicant. We'll then have comments from the Director of Planning and Zoning. We'll then take questions from the public. We'll do questions from the commission. We'll do comments from the public, then we'll do comments from the commission. And at that point, we'll give the applicant a last chance to make any closing remarks before we close the public hearing. At this point, Dave, you can start.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to point out that the next application is the special permit part of the same presentation, basically. So I don't know if you want to open that hearing as well and have one presentation for both. You have to vote twice, but if you don't approve the text amendment, then the special permit is doesn't count anyhow. So or is irrelevant. So I don't know. Justin, how do you feel about that?
I would say it makes sense to have both because they're hand in hand. It wouldn't make sense with one without the other.
All right, so then I will also read the second part of this application then. Which is, in addition to the text amendment, the applicant is requesting a special permit application from the Atrium CT LLC to add outdoor storage as an accessory use at property located at 1300/1302 Hall Boulevard in a DDZ zone. Owner, the Atrium CT LLC.
Okay. Well, good evening. My name is Dave Ziyax. I'm a professional engineer with F.A. Hesketh Associates. We're located next door in East Granby, and I'm representing the applicant. This text amendment is kind of interesting. I don't know how many of the commission members are that familiar with the DDD zone. This is actually DDZ-1, which encompasses all of the Cigna properties, both north and south of Cottage Grove Road, and includes the golf course. And it includes this building now that's called the Atrium, which is the southernmost property. It used to be, it was owned by Cigna. It was Cigna South, that building at one time. Then it was MetLife. And
I'm
now
sorry.
it's being.
Mrs. Ice, are you presenting something? Because we don't see something. I think.
No, I'm not. I'm just talking right now, but I will be in a second. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks.
No, that's okay. And so the subject of this application and the next special permit is the most southern portion of the site. And it is now owned by the Atrium CT. It's being repurposed. The main office building has got some new exciting tenants moving in. One of them is the subject of the outdoor storage, which is PNA, which is Permastelli glass. They're basically major glass manufacturers and suppliers all over the world. And they have an office, I think it's 30,000 square feet now in the atrium in that main building. And they're looking to add additional capacity at the site and some outdoor storage. So I think I can share the screen, hopefully. Can you folks see this now?
Yes.
Oh, good. So really, this first part is the text amendment. And every time you change that master plan, which is the DDZ1, it actually constitutes a text amendment to the regulations because it's, and Justin could explain it to you maybe better than I can after this. What we are asking for is the atrium is what they call land use number 5 down here. There's 10 different land uses that include the Cigna buildings, the golf course, the Cigna University, and now the atrium, which again was MetLife at the time when this was all put together many years ago, decade ago. So we're focusing only on land use area number 5, which is 1300 to 1302. It has a Hall Boulevard address. And what we want to do is, right now there's all types of permitted uses around the property, but nowhere on the property is an outdoor storage provision provided for. So what we're asking for is to add permitted land uses M, which is here right in the chart. It would be added to this chart. This chart gets filed every time a change is made to this overall DDZ zone. And M is basically, it would allow us to include this 58,862 square feet of outdoor storage as an approved accessory use on land use 5. And since the applicant for the special permit outdoor storage is already on the property, functioning there with an office, and soon we'll have a warehouse there if this commission approves it. That would be, the outdoor storage would be accessory to them. Outdoor storage would not be allowed on any of the other land uses. So for instance, up at the main Cigna campus, they could not put outdoor storage there without coming back to you. And so their land use number 4, you can see 360,000 square foot building. They would not be able to do that. Only land use area 5, which is this is land use area 5. So this dark outline is 1300 and 1302 Hall Boulevard. To the north of us is the Cigna Golf Course. And to the south of us are the play fields that are along Simsbury Road and actually are in West Hartford. If you're familiar with the site, there's a lot of softball fields and play areas down across Cigna Campus Way, which is a private road. So the 1300 Hall Boulevard is the main office building that you see out there. And then 1302 is a warehouse operations center that was part of Cigna, that was part of MetLife, but has been empty for a number of years now. This is where the warehouse activity would take place. And then the outdoor storage would be out in this large existing parking lot that hasn't been parked on probably for 10 years, at least that I'm aware of. They'd like to do their outdoor storage area over here, which is really out of sight from just about any viewpoint other than an aerial drone. Last year or maybe it was 18 months ago, I was here before the commission and we put this, what we call the cube area right here, which is a fenced in area that's associated with PNA. And there they do very unique situation where they actually build full mock-ups of what the glass might look like. So if you're building a big building and you're going to buy a lot of glass from them, and you want to see what it might look like, they build sort of like a partial wall of a building here and put the glass in there, and you can come out and take a look at it and see how that all fits. That's an important part of their business with their customers, and the commission approved that. It's been constructed. It's out there. If you care to go out and take a look at it, it's kind of an interesting feature. But that's part of this campus now. So they're taking over sort of this whole easterly portion of this area, land use area 5. So again, the only place on the entire DDZ area the outdoor storage would be allowed would be what's shown on this plan, and only in land use 5. So we're not opening up the entire site to potential outdoor storage, only at this location and only on land use number 5. And that's about it. It's a rather unique application because the text amendment is, kind of unique to this DDD zone. Every time you want to make a change to a use here, it's not only just a special permit, but it translates into an actual regulation change because the regulation is fluid. It follows this special zoning around on this property. And so it's kind of an interesting application. We've done a couple of others over the years, the last 20 years that this zone has existed. We've done some other touch-ups, on the property, sort of allow the university to exist and a couple of other things across the street with the housing. So this isn't the first text amendment or change to these plans. Actually, we did it also for the Gillette shops. If some of the commission members were on the commission back a couple of years ago, where the Starbucks is now, the drive-through, and where the medical center just is getting ready to open. That was a text amendment there as well to allow that expanded use on that corner. So this is probably maybe 5th or 6th amendment on this property. What happens is we file these maps on the land records, and they become, the zoning as of record as of that day. Any other changes requires this process to take place again. So here again, out in this outdoor store, this parking area, some of this parking will remain for employees, and then we will put in a fenced-in area over here, right on top of the asphalt, and they will be able to store their glass products here that are either completed and getting ready to be shipped to customers, or are going to come into the operations center here, warehouse at 1302, and be modified in some fashion or customized, I guess, to be shipped out to their customers. So that's really it. That's the application. That's both of the applications lumped together. And again, you would have to approve the text amendment to allow to be able to approve the special permit for the outdoor storage. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Justin.
Yeah, so I think Dave did a pretty good job explaining that. It's kind of an unusual situation with, A, the master plan, and B, doing the text amendment and the special permit. This is something that staff looked at. It's kind of surprising that there was never an outdoor storage area included in this zone. So, we think it makes sense to add that in, both for now, for this use, and for if anything comes up in the future that would require this as well. In terms of the proposed area for the storage, we reviewed some recent historical aerial views of that parking lot, and the last time we saw any cars parked there was 2009. So it seems like they're pretty, that area is pretty vacant. So instead of leaving a, concrete surface unused and, potentially building another for this type of use, it makes sense to put this there. They're still well above parking counts, everything like that. So there's no concerns there. I think that's really all we had with this one. Like Dave mentioned, what you would have to do with this is you would have to close both public hearings, of course, and then have a motion to approve the text amendment first, set an effective date for that. Typically we do a month out. I said November 1st, but really what we need is, 3 weeks or so. And then you would do the second motion for the special permit, and then, move on from there. If you chose not to approve the text amendment, there's no way that you could approve the special permit. So they really go hand in hand. I hope that explains it. It's a little bit of an odd situation, but if you have any questions for me, just let me know.
Thank you. Dave, can you quit sharing your screen now?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll take questions from the public. If there's any hands raised or anyone out there, Justin?
I see no hands.
Okay, then we'll start with the commission. I'll start at the top. Mr. Millet, Commissioner Millet, any questions?
No questions.
Ms. Blint,
Just one, will this proposed outdoor storage area allow the business to continue to grow in Bloomfield? Is that part of the plan, or is it just simply something that they needed all along and didn't have?
And no, what's interesting is this operation is pretty much exists in the area. It's up in Windsor Locks near the airport. They've been renting space up there. They've outgrown that space, and they want to bring that operation, which includes that warehouse, repurposing the old warehouse and the outdoor storage. They want to bring that down to Bloomfield because they're making that their home now. They have their office in the atrium, which is their corporate office for the area. They have the cube, which is very important to their customer base. And they're basically bringing their operation to Bloomfield because they're going to be, I understand they're going to be closing the Windsor Locks operation down.
Excellent. Thank you.
hey, Mr. Peters, any questions?
No questions.
No, thank you. Mr. Bolton, any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Oliver.
Yes, sorry, Dave, thank you, Chair. Sorry, Dave, I'm not sure if I missed it. Will there be a perimeter around this storage, or is it just gonna be open storage?
No, there'll be a fence with a security gate around the outdoor storage area.
Thank you, appreciate you.
Okay, Mr. Hussein, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. I know the text amendment specifically mentions just the text amendment, sorry. But what happens when they outgrow that too, right? Are they gonna be able to build there? What's the plans with that? And then what happens in the wintertime? Are they just gonna leave it out there? Is there gonna be any sort of coverage for that type of stuff?
No, I went and I visited their site in Windsor Locks, and I mean, these are all pretty much exterior grade windows and framing and things. So weather is not an issue. I am assuming that if they have some outdoor storage there and it snows a lot, they just have a lot of shoveling to do if they have to move it around. But no, there's no proposal to cover it. It's not covered now in Windsor Locks. It's all open. And again, this is all exterior grade, expensive, heavy duty building materials, so that's not really a concern.
I do apologize, Justin. Thanks, Mrs. Ives. I do apologize. I don't have the actual text amendment in front of me. There's nothing in there that allows them to build, correct? They'd have to come back in front of us again to build something.
Right. There's no building involved, right?
So I guess we'll see them in a year based on their growth.
The 58,000 square feet is quite a good size outdoor storage area. They could have taken the whole lot, but they haven't chosen to do that. They don't seem like they need that right now. So you might see them again if they're very successful. It's kind of a cool operation. I use the word cool operation for lack of some better term, but it's kind of unique. If you go online, not but if you go online and you look at their website, it's amazing the buildings and facilities they're involved with everywhere.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Oliver. No, I'm sorry. I think we already had Mr. Oliver. Miss Adams.
Oh, I was gonna begin to take that personal. No question.
No question. I just have one, and I was curious that the size that we're doing, the 58,800 and some square feet. Now, this is going to be applied anytime when anyone else may request a outdoor storage for this same type of usage.
No,
Justin?
if someone comes back on any of the other 9 land use areas,
Mhm.
then they would have to apply for the same thing. We're not proposing outdoor storage everywhere in the DDZ. It's
No,
only
I'm-
here.
Right, I'm more concerned about, okay, and that includes the size. The size and everything is more specific to just you.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll go with Justin. We'll see if there's any comments for anyone in the public.
I don't see any hands.
Okay, then we'll start back with the commission. Miss Adams, any comments?
No comments, thank you.
Mr. Hussein,
No comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
okay, Mr. Oliver,
No comments, thank you.
Mr. Bolton,
No comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
okay, Mr. Peters,
No comments.
Miss Blint,
No comments either. Thank you.
okay, and Mr. Millet.
No comments.
No comments. All right, David, this time, is there any last thing you want to say regarding this application?
No, we're all set, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this point, the chair entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose, abstention, chair votes aye. Okay, chair entertain a motion on this.
I'll move to approve the petition by the Atrium Connecticut LLC for a zoning regulation text amendment to allow for outdoor storage as an accessory use in DD zone, specifically to the land use area 5, with an effective date of November 1st.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose, abstention, chair votes aye. Okay, the second part of this application, the chair entertain a motion.
Go ahead, Mr. Millet.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the special permit application from the Atrium Connecticut LLC to add outdoor storage, add outdoor storage as an accessory use at property located at 1300 and 1302 Hall Boulevard in a DDZ zone, owner the Atrium CT LLC.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Any further discussions?
Should we note that the motion includes the conditions in the director's September 25th memo?
Yeah, you can add that in there.
Yes, I did not see the memo.
Accepted.
Yes, I accept that.
Okay, any other further discussions?
Actually, do we have to mention anything about the text amendment?
Well, we've already voted on that.
Yeah, but I don't know if we have to do something formally too, but just.
Yep. So to clarify that, one of the conditions in my report for the special permit is that it does not become effective until the effective date of the text amendment.
Which he did indicate November 1st. On the
Excellent.
first motion.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any further discussions? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstention, and the chair votes aye. Okay, congratulations, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All righty. Next item on the agenda also is a new public hearing. I'll read the legal notice. Legal notice published in the Hartford Courant, September 15th. 2023, and again on September 22nd, 2023. Notice is hereby given that the Town Planning and Zoning Commission will hold its regular meeting virtually via Zoom on Thursday, September 28th, 2023, to consider the following. Petition by Winshar to Limited Partnership for a zoning regulation text amendment to remove language from section 7.14.d.1. Any parcel for which multifamily dwellings are proposed must abut both a residential and an industrial zone district. Okay, Justin, is anyone here for that?
Yeah, you might not know this guy. It's Dave Ziyax again.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. Again, my name is Dave Ziyax. I'm a professional engineer with F.A. Hesketh Associates, and we're located up in East Granby. And we're here this evening. This is another kind of a interesting application. This relates back to the PO zone again, which we had a couple of applications in the last few months on, but it has nothing to do with Jolly Drive. Because Jolly Drive, the PO parcels do abut residential and industrial zone districts. So, but in talking with staff, particularly with Justin, we have a client, which is Winshar 2 Limited Partnership, better known as Bob Schwartz in town, who owns a lot of properties. And he owns a substantial PO parcel on the corner of Bloomfield Avenue and Cottage Grove Road, which is known as 800 Cottage Grove Road. That parcel was developed many, many years ago with a very small kind of suburban little office buildings. There's a number of them on that parcel, and it's a nice parcel. It has Wash Brook associated with it. And those, just to give you an idea what's prompted this, those buildings are now pretty antiquated and very difficult to lease, and really have served their purpose. And with the owner of that, which is the Winshar Limited Partnership, Bob Schwartz, would like to do is he was looking at the possibility of converting that to multifamily. It seems to make a lot of sense over there, given it's right next to Cigna. Employees are actually going to be returning to Cigna. And then it's right down the street from the university. So there's a potential there. Obviously, it's a major application. But one of the strange parts of this multifamily in the PO zone and multifamily in the other zones, because you can also put it in zones other than the PO zone under that section 7, is this unique requirement that you have to abut both residential and industrial zones. I never paid much attention to it all these years, because really the only place I ever did it was down on Jolly Drive, and Jolly Drive met that requirement, and we never really thought about it very much. But then as we've been looking at some other opportunities around town, this starts to play in. And as I indicated in discussions with Justin, we haven't been able to rationalize why you would only allow multifamily on a piece of property where it has to abut residential and industrial zones. It seems to be kind of a strange requirement. So our proposal is to just strike that requirement. Don't change anything else regarding multifamily in any of the zones as per section 7, but just this one strange requirement of having to have a parcel that abuts both residential and industrial zones. And that's really it. It would make that it's the section 714.d.1 in the regulations has this line: any parcel for which multifamily dwellings are proposed must abut both residential and industrial zone district. We would ask that you just remove that line and change nothing else. And that's really the application.
Okay, thank you. Justin. Comments?
Yeah, I mean, this is a fairly straightforward what the request is. When John and I were talking about this, and then of course when we talked about it with Dave, it really doesn't seem to make much sense. The only thing we can think is that at some point there was an application that came in, and in order to try to ensure that things would only happen at this one site, they put this requirement that these types of projects had to abut these two different types of zones. I'm gonna be honest, it's not something I've really ever seen before in zoning regulations. It's very, very unique, and quite honestly, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. So staff would be supportive of removing this. And John, if you want to chime in too, I know you've been going through our regs a lot, and you know, you've been finding a couple things like this, and this is a good example of one that, you know, we think should be changed.
Yeah, I would agree completely. I mean, it without it being, you know, it smacks of spot zoning without being a map.
Mhm.
And spot zoning is not something you really want to have. And obviously, it clearly was put in place for some specific development that was approved back before any of us were involved. And I would agree, it makes absolutely no sense and ought to be removed.
Hey, thank you. At this point, is there any questions from the public regarding this application?
I don't see any hands.
Okay, we'll start with the commission. Ms. Blint, any questions?
In terms of what multifamily dwellings include, I assume that those are like 2-family, 3-family houses, duplexes, things of that nature, or does that define other things as well?
Yeah, so in this case, you know, the way our regulations define multifamily, it would be a building or multiple buildings of, I believe, at least 3 units. So it would be, you know, it wouldn't just be like one single family home or you know, a duplex. It would be a larger type of development.
Yeah, I'm just trying to envision what could go in there. But I agree with staff. I mean, removing this from our regs could increase the quality of life for people who live in those multifamily dwellings, because they wouldn't just be located near industrial zones. So this is seems like a good way to go, but that's a comment, not a question.
Okay, Mr. Peters, any questions?
No additional questions.
Thank you. Mr. Bolton.
My question is for Director LaFountain. In my regs that I have here, and mine might be old, it's 715D.1. Is it 714 or 715? Mine's a 715D.1. For multifamily.
Let me verify that for you. Hang on one second.
My regs are outdated. I want new regs.
Yeah, the one you sent out was 714D.
And which is parking for me. So then I go 715 multifamily dwelling units, 715D1. Any parcel for which multifamily dwellings are proposed must abut both residential and an industrial zone district. So I just wanted to make sure I had the right. I had
So the current regs are, it is 7.14.D. So we can get you updated regs. You must have an old set.
Yeah, mine's are 8/15/2009 revised 10/1/2016. You guys got me in the stone ages here. All right, no worries. Thank you.
Well,
Sir.
and you know what the funny thing about that is, this section went into effect right around that time, went into effect in October of 2016. So you're right, you're this close to it.
Right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Let's see. Peters. Oh, Miss Adams. Any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Hussein, any questions?
Well, the only one I had, I think Justin answered it, and I think it's an anomaly. It wasn't something that you've seen in other best practice or anything like that for towns. It's just one of these weird additions per se. So that's all I had, and Justin answered that. Thanks.
Okay, Mr. Oliver.
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Millette.
No questions.
Okay, and I have it, no questions also. Any comments from anyone in the public?
Once again, no hands.
Okay, we'll start with Miss Adams. Any comments?
No comment.
Mr. Hussein,
No comments?
Mr. Oliver,
No comments. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Millet,
No comments.
Mr. Peters,
No comments.
Mr. Bolton,
No comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Ms. Blint,
No comments, thanks.
and I have no comments either. Dave, anything else you'd like to say before we close this out?
No, other than that, I thought tonight I would bring you some interesting applications to consider. So rather than just mundane site plans or something, but no, we have nothing else tonight to offer.
Okay, great. Chair entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose? Abstention? And the chair votes aye. Chair, now I'll entertain a motion on this application.
Sure, I'll go ahead and do it. Give me 1 second. Switch screens here. I will make a motion to approve the proposed regulation amendment submitted by Winchar 2 Limited Partnership to section 7.14.d.1 as proposed or as amended of the Bloomfield zoning regulations, having found consistency with the plan of conservation and development. This amendment will have an effective date of November 1st, 2023.
Second.
Been moved in second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstention? And the chair votes aye. Okay, congratulations, Dave.
Yes, thank you very much, folks, and good night.
All righty, have a nice
Dave,
evening.
Dave, maybe FH Heskett should move to Bloomfield instead of East Granby, just so you know.
Well, we were there for a very long time and
Well, you know the regs, so you
might have made a mistake moving up here, but we can have that discussion some other time.
Talk to Bob Schwartz.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you very much, folks.
Okay, have a nice.
Bye-bye.
Next item on the agenda is also a new public hearing. I'll read the legal notice again. Legal notice published in the Hartford Courant, September 15th, 2023, and again on September 22nd, 2023. Notice is hereby given that the Town Planning and Zoning Commission will hold its regular meeting virtually via Zoom on Thursday, September 28th, 2023, to consider the following. Special permit application from Mycoscience Labs, LLC for approval for offices, laboratory testing, and fabrication of non-pharmaceutical products at property located at 35 Griffin Road South in an I2 zone. Owner is 29-35-210 Griffin South LLC. Is there anyone here for that application, Justin?
Yes, we have Peter Huey and Sarath. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name, Akora Prul. And guys, is there anybody else for you tonight, or is it just the two of you?
Just the two of us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, you're on.
Sarath, would you like to just give an introduction to Microscience?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Sarath Kuruprolu, Senior Director of Microscience Labs. Microscience is a contract testing laboratory and a contract manufacturing partner for medical device companies and manufacturers. What we do is primarily test single-use, sterile, finished sterile medical devices. We put them through quality assurance testing, which is critical for the approval of the devices to be marketed as required by the FDA. We are currently located in Willington, Connecticut, in a 5,000 square foot facility, and the proposed special permit application will allow us to move to our new proposed site in Bloomfield, Connecticut, to a 25,000 square foot facility. We will be looking to expand our operations, our team size, and the services we offer to the medical device industry. I believe that's the part of the application. Yep.
Thanks, Sarat.
Okay, anything else you want to add to this presentation? Okay, Justin.
All right, so from a planning zoning side, this application is pretty straightforward. All of the changes are going to occur inside the building. It is a change of use from a sort of office use to a, like they just described, a medical fabrication. It's a really kind of unique use, and I think it'll be good for Bloomfield for economic development purposes. Staff really has no concerns. It's a great building. It has more than enough parking. And with all of the activities taking place inside the building, it's very unlikely that anybody would even really notice a change. So I think it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, thank you. Justin, is there anyone in the public with any questions?
I don't see any hands.
Okay, we'll start with the commission. Ms. Blunt, any questions?
I didn't sorry. I just wanted the applicant to remind me how many thousand square feet the current operation is in Wellington.
About 5,000.
And you're going to 25,000?
That's correct.
Great, thank you.
Hey, Mr. Millet.
No questions.
Mr. Hussein.
Yeah, a couple questions. Are you planning to increase your staff size?
Yes, we are.
All right. Is there any potential for local hiring? I know it might be a specialized type. Any consideration given to at least Bloomfield or Hartford County?
Absolutely. I mean, we hire primarily local. Where we are, we're right now, most of our employees come from UConn, which is the closest school we have to our current location. We are looking to hire exclusively locally because most of the entry-level positions require a bachelor's in biology or science equivalent or engineering, which we can source from local colleges.
And University of Hartford is right down the street too, so
yeah,
it is my alma mater, so I'm plugging it in. So, and then my only other question too, and again, I have to ask because I don't want the next COVID strain coming out of Bloomfield, Connecticut. So, tell us a little bit more of if there's any hazardous, non-testing type stuff you're doing, or anything hazardous that you're doing in there, or what. Let me answer that one. Sorry.
Okay, so we make sure there are no hazardous substances on finished medical devices to keep everyone safe. What we do is quality assurance testing. So think of a medical device manufacturer making an implant or a syringe or a screw that goes into a sterile packaging which gets opened in an OR or a doctor's office. The patient and the doctor assume that the product inside that packaging is sterile. To be able to get that product to that end user point, it has to go through a series of steps, which includes manufacturing process, sterilization, and quality assurance testing. The key is quality assurance testing. What happens during that step is it ensures that the sterilization validation process is accurate and has performed to the intended level, which assures that all bacteria or microorganisms on that product or inside that product have been killed. So it is hence declared as safe. FDA requires this quality assurance testing step to be performed, and it is required for all commercially marketed medical devices. We, as a testing laboratory and a contract manufacturing unit, we perform those outside testing services as an independent lab and an independent company to all the medical device manufacturers. So, very routinely, we're taking those finished medical devices, opening them in clean rooms, and putting them in media and detecting or testing for the presence of bacteria. If bacteria is present, we then issue a report to the manufacturer saying, we detected some growth, so you better check out your sterilization process, or you want to put your product on hold to figure out what's really going on. So we just provide a report as a result of the testing we perform on third-party medical device manufacturers' products.
All right, and then the part for the fabrication of the non-pharmaceutical medical products, is there any byproduct of that fabrication? And what are some of the byproducts of that fabrication?
So our products are fully consumed. We manufacture injectables that are typically referred to as saline injections, PBS dextrose injections, which are considered to be medical devices because they don't involve any active pharmaceutical ingredients. So they're essentially part of a medical device kit, and they need to be manufactured in a clean room. So what we do is fill vials and syringes in a clean room through specialized equipment and trained technicians, and we send them back to the manufacturer to put them together in a kit or assemble it in the form of a final medical device that goes to the end user again.
All right, great, thanks, that's it. Thanks, Commissioner, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Millet. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay, Mr. Oliver. You're muted. You're muted, Mike.
Thank you, Chair.
Mhm.
So this building that's being built, do you plan on building with local and responsible contractors?
Well, the building is already constructed.
Yeah, but the interior work?
Yes, I mean, we
Are
will
you
be where.
Are you receiving any grants or any federal grants with this building? Or are
No.
you just, okay, thank you very much.
Hey, Mr. Bolton,
No questions, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Peters,
Also, no questions.
Ms. Adams.
No questions. Thank you for the education. That's
And just wanted to kind of follow up. So basically, you guys, you do mostly like cleaning of these kind of medical facilities and then repackaging them and making sure that once they get to the end user that everything is good. I mean, it goes back to kind of like what Commissioner Hussein was saying, like we'd have to worry about any sort of cleaning gases or anything like that getting out in the air or anything.
So we don't perform sterilization. So we don't release any gases thereby into the environment. What we do is test for the presence of microbial microbes or bacteria, mold, fungus on medical devices. And if we do detect, that's always contained in a test tube, which is then autoclaved before it is disposed. This process of autoclaving kills the bacteria because they sit in a chamber at a certain temperature and pressure for a certain amount of time. And these are all validated procedures recommended by the FDA to get rid of these microorganisms. So we're not releasing anything that's harmful or viral. We don't work with viruses. We only deal with routinely found bacteria due to manufacturing errors or any other storage errors on the packaging and the devices. And we detect them and just provide a report. We do not produce the bacteria ourselves.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. No, any comments from anyone in the public? Justin?
No hands raised.
I have one more question before we close out.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, Chair. Where will these needles be coming from? Different countries or within the United States?
I'm sorry. So needle is just an example. The medical device.
Sorry.
Yeah. So what we deal with is primarily orthopedic implants, such as screws, plates, but a needle could be an example of a sterile packaged medical device. And all our customers are across the US, and we do have some international customers, very small percentage of them. But we support majority of the Fortune 500 medical devices and also small and medium-sized medical device manufacturers.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. See, we kind of keep jumping around a little bit. Let's see, where did we left off with Mr. Mr. Bolton, did you?
No comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Peters?
No comments.
Okay, Ms. Adams?
No comment. And please, if I fall off of the thing, it's because I'm having a great headache. I'm fighting the flu. So just in case, I'll try to stay on as long as I can.
All right, sorry to hear that.
You get better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Millet,
No comments.
Mr. Hussein.
No comments. Welcome to, sorry, I have one comment, Bloomfield. And I hope at some point, maybe we could work with our high school and some sort of a hub to do some science, technology, engineering, and math, some collaboration there. And hopefully we can have our high school folks reach out to you guys and welcome in town and, you know, hopefully success in the future.
Thank you. We're excited. Yeah.
Yes.
Ms. Blunt.
No comments. Thank you.
Yep. And let's see, because we moved around, is there anyone that I missed?
I think Commissioner Adams had her hands up again, Mr. Chair.
Just wanted to piggyback on what Kevin said. The high school just started a medical program, so that would actually tie right in. My daughter is a part of it, but that was a great observation.
Thank you.
And also I would like to just say kind of like congratulations and I hope that we can see more businesses like this in town. This is excellent. This is exactly what we've been looking for and hoping to get more of. At that point, would you guys have any closing remarks on your application?
No,
I
thank you.
think as we've said, we took a long time looking for this location. And we chose it because a lot of the employees are directly in the area, maybe not directly in Bloomfield, but very close by. The building is a perfect fit for us. And as Saraz said, we're going from 5,000 to 25. So the idea is to grow and expand. And with the colleges in the area, as he also said, this isn't, minimum wage type work. It's highly skilled, and we hope to be very successful here.
Thank you. Okay, with that said, the chair entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
We'll move.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstention, chair votes aye. Okay, chair entertain a motion on this.
I'll make a motion first to approve the special permit application from Microscience Labs LLC for approval for offices, laboratory testing, and fabrication of non-pharmaceutical products at property located at 35 Griffin Road South in an I2 zone, owner 29-35-210 Griffin South LLC. And based on the, let me just pull this up. Based on the letter from the director of the building and land use dated September 25th, which gives the 8 conditions identified.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose. Abstention. And the chair votes aye. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Congrats.
This is
Thank you, everyone.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Bye now.
All righty. Okay, next item on the agenda is also a new public hearing. And I'll read the legal notice. Legal notice published in the Hartford Courant, September 15th, 2023, and again on September 22nd, 2023. Notice is hereby given that the Town Planning and Zoning Commission will hold its regular meeting virtually via Zoom on Thursday, September 28th, 2023, to consider the following. A special permit application from NEF and AKHE LLC for approval to establish and conduct an event space business at property located at 31 Toby Road, Unit 3-4 in an I1 zone. Owner is 31 Toby Road LTD. Is there anyone here for that application?
Yes, there is, Mr. Chair. We have, I think is it Rosalind?
You're
you're
muted. You're muted.
Hi, yes, there is, and there is Mr. Jerome in the background. Jason Jerome.
Oh, can you identify yourself for the record?
My name is Rosalind Nyako. I'm representing FNAC LLC. Hoping to operate an event space over at 31 Toby Road.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to share with us regarding your application?
It's pretty straightforward. It got a little while ago, it got approved for a hookah lounge. So I just thought it's just pretty straightforward thing.
Okay. All right, Justin.
Yeah, so this is potentially going into the space where the hookah lounge was approved at 31 Toby Road previously. We're seeing, some of these event spaces pop up lately. As you know, we've had a few come through. This is really no different in that end. Staff doesn't really see any major concerns with this. The one thing that we would recommend is just placing the standard conditions on the hours that we've been placing, so that way they can't go, events can't go past midnight. Beyond that, everything is pretty straightforward.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions from anyone in the public?
No hands.
No hands. Okay, we'll start with the commission. We'll start at the top. Ms. Blint, any questions?
Yes, what happened to the hookah lounge that we had previously approved?
I have no idea.
Okay, it didn't get built.
I can let you know. Hi, it's Steve Powell.
Oh, hold on, Steve, excuse me.
Yep.
Steve, hold
two
on a
different
second. Okay. Ms. Blint, can you just hold your question? And we're gonna get to Steve for a couple minutes.
Yep.
I guess he didn't hear us when we asked for public questions. Okay, Steve. Do you have a
Oh, no.
question or?
Mr.
No, I was
Chair,
just gonna let Mrs.
Steve is the owner of the building.
know
Mr.
that
Chair.
the hookah lounge never, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
The
okay.
hookah lounge never materialized. Simple as that.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's what I thought.
I didn't know if he had a question. I didn't realize he was answering hers. Sorry
Sure.
about that.
Yep.
To the chair,
Yes.
that's two different, that was one that already exists. That's not the same one from last month.
Right.
Right. Right. Okay, and then this will just be an event space without any changes to the interior of the building? Just a different use, correct?
There will be changes. I'm guessing the hookah lounge was gonna have a little like mounts, like stages. I would have no stages. It would just be just a room, just me renting out the space.
Okay. And what kind of events do you envision there?
Book signing, anniversaries, baby showers, birthday parties.
Great. And all food and beverages brought in?
Brought in, yes.
Brought in, catered. Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, excellent. Mr. Millette.
What hours typically would you be going or having the events for?
My hours are gonna be during the Monday to Thursday will be typically about 4 hours, 5 hours at most. Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be from 6 to 12, and that's it.
Thank you.
Mr. Hussein.
Yeah, a couple, What's the capacity for that event space, and do we have enough parking?
Yes, we do have enough parking. So during Monday to Thursday, there are other workers around, which but it is limited to just 4 or 5 hours at a time, and there's no one that's going to be packed there for those 4 hours at a time. And I have the biggest what you call a space there, so I have all that side to myself, so the parking is quite enough. And then the late hours from the 6 to 12, that there is no the other businesses are closed at that time, so I have basically the whole place. And during those times, I will be renting it out to 80 people, 80 to 100 at most.
And then and again, and I do apologize, I just want to ask because we've had a few incidents, not only in this town, but some neighboring towns. So when you rent it out to, or you sublet it out, I shouldn't say rent it out, sublet, when you rent it out, you're still going to be in charge. You're still going to have someone there to make sure everything goes well. You're just not going to give it to them and here's the key and, you know, do what you want type stuff, right?
Not at all. I'll be there.
Okay. Because the question I had, and maybe Mr. Kaplan or even Justin can help me with this, and I've seen it recently, there's been a lot of underage drinking and other stuff that's happening in these event spaces that pop up. And how do we mitigate that it doesn't come back to the town or to the owner itself or whoever it is? How do we mitigate it? Do you have to pull a liquor permit, or if it's a private event, there's not even, anyone can bring anything in there, right? Who mitigates that so nothing comes back to, I guess in this case, Mr. Kaplan or the town?
So if I'm not going for a liquor permit, no, I'm not doing that. But if somebody's, or if there is a program that's going to have that, let's say a wedding or something, they would have to go to the town, and I would make sure they have that 1-day permit for that, and it don't go past 12 a.m., which I will be there to close my doors and everything. And so I don't think that will be
okay. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Peters. Any questions?
So I was just confused. So is the plan is the open space, or the plan is the one with the 2 offices? Because there are 2 that were submitted.
The plan is an open space. It has 2 offices in there. So one is going to be for my storage, and then one is going to be my office.
Okay, so those will remain existing. Okay. Also to echo Commissioner Hussein's question about the liquor use, is there going to be any protocol established when liquor will be involved within these spaces? Because that is a concern. It seems like that whoever is occupying these spaces, they will have free reign to drink excessively, possibly with no actual I guess enforcement.
Yeah, enforcement.
So is there any hope or plan to create some kind of regulation on what, or the quantity of a liquor that's being brought into the establishment to prevent, 1, over drinking, and 2, that underage drinking does not occur at these events?
Yes, I'm going to look to that. Yeah.
Okay, no further questions from me.
Okay, Mr. Bolton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Rosalind, Monday through Thursday, will be operating for 4 hours. What would be the actual times of operation? From what to when?
9 to 1 p.m. because those times are usually like yoga classes, book signings. So those times are like more of corporate times.
Okay. And Justin, Director LaFountain, the fire marshal will review this as a part of the approval process for the permit, and they are going to determine what the maximum occupancy will be for that space.
Correct. The fire marshal and the building official will work towards that with reviewing it, making sure everything is up to code.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Oliver.
Yeah, so like Commissioner Peters, drinking can be an issue. Who I would like to know is there someone that will be serving, will they serve their own alcohol? Are you gonna serve their alcohol? Are they gonna hold on to their own alcohol? How would that be distributed?
I am not gonna serve alcohol.
No, like if they bring their own alcohol, not you, but if
Oh.
they decide to bring their own alcohol, is there anybody that's in control of serving that alcohol? Are they serving themselves?
So I would have services I have vendors that will be, I would be working with.
Okay.
So that's how I'm going to be able to regulate it, because I would have vendors that will do the alcohol part, yeah.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, Ms. Adams.
All right, so a suggestion to the applicant. So for the drinking and the excessive possibility, you would just have to make sure that you have an attorney to have a tight lease of the space written up so that whomever is excessive, if there's any fines or town ordinances that are violated, that your deposit is big enough to be taken from, to be retained to cover you. And as far as the drinking goes, make sure you know whose insurance cover that. So that would be day insurance that they would get for the event if there's alcohol served. So those are things that you can look into with an attorney to cover you.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it. Mr. Hussein, did you go already?
Yeah, I did. I just had one follow-up question, if you don't mind, to the director, to Justin. Can you explain again the procedures if there were to have an event there that required alcohol?
No, I was gonna ask him that. Justin.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So if they were to have it's a temporary liquor permit. And what that means is they would go through the town, and the police chief is the one who signs off on those permits. So they get reviewed. They are allowed to occur through zoning, but it's just the administrative process through the police that would need to be followed through with.
And a follow-up, and not to be funny, but if they wanted to add hookah?
No smoking.
Okay. Well, at this point, it is a good question, because there has been a whole debate about non-conforming uses and everything. At this point,
zone, right?
What's that?
Isn't it in the I2 zone, correct?
This is the I1 zone.
I1, sorry.
Yeah, but the permit that was approved for the hookah lounge before, as there is now this permit taking place in that same space, we can very likely safely assume that use is abandoned, so it wouldn't be allowed in here. The overriding use would now be, if approved, this event space. So a hookah lounge would, or any use of hookah would need to come back through the commission in order to get that approval.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for that second question.
Oh, no problem. And I guess I was actually going to ask you something similar to that. Now, you mentioned that she would have to get a liquor license. So that's like anytime she's having an event, then she would have to go to the town and get a liquor license in order for someone to bring liquor to that event.
Not if it was just BYOB, but if there was going to be a vendor there that was, providing liquor or selling liquor or something like that. Good example of something like that is we had one a little while ago. There was a bicycling event, and they had to obtain a liquor permit for like their end of day, events. So they had to, forget. John, do you remember where that one was? I can't quite remember where that one took place, but they had to go through police department and police chief to sign off on that.
Okay,
I
so
remember the location, but I do remember the use, and that they had to get that special liquor permit.
okay, so then for a BYOB, then she wouldn't need anything. She can just advertise the event as a BYOB. And once again, there's no kind of like real enforcement as to what goes on at that point. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
it would be likely private events, and the private events would have to follow, the policies for that, the policies that are in place by the owner of the building and the tenant. It's similar to the, we just had the one recently at the Save More Plaza that went through.
Okay.
Same type of thing as that.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, I don't have any more questions. Any comments from the public? Just
No hands raised.
no hands. Okay. We'll start with the commission. We'll start with Miss Adams. Any comments?
Comments is congratulations on your business venture, the attempting of it. Just make sure you cover yourself from all liabilities. But congrats. Mhm.
Mr. Hussein,
No comments. Welcome. Good luck.
Mr. Oliver,
Thank you, Chair. Welcome to Bloomfield and congratulations. Hope your business thrives.
Mr. Peters,
Also, congratulations. No additional comments at the.
Mr. Bolton,
No comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Millet.
Just a comment on the hours. Typically, for these, we've done the extended hours on the weekend, and I know that's then typically Friday and Saturday. I have no problem with the Sunday request either. Who may want to just put hours of operation in the approval, or the closing time probably by day of the week, and opening just to be consistent.
Okay. Okay, because I know she mentioned like 9 to 1. I mean, in the event that it started at 1 and went from 1 to 5, I mean, she mentioned like a 4-hour window. Does it have to be narrowed
Right.
to a specific 4 hours? Or
It's not narrowed now.
Yeah, I don't think we need to narrow it down that much. I would say the
Okay.
biggest concern that we have is the closing time, just that no
Gotcha.
events are taking place after, midnight kind of thing.
all right, that's good. Thank you for that clarification. Did we leave off with you, Mr. Bolton?
No, you got me, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
I had no comments.
Ms. Blunt,
Contingent upon approval, congratulations.
Okay.
right? Okay. And, oh, that's right, because it was Mr. Millet who mentioned about the hours. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, and I have no comments other than congratulations if you pass it, and I wish you the best of luck in terms of your business venture. At that point, is there anything else you'd like to tell us before we close the public hearing?
Not that. Thank you very much. Thank you for welcoming me. And I hope to work with you for a long time.
Great, thank you. This time the chair entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstention, and the chair votes aye. The chair entertain a motion on this application.
No takers? All right, I'll do it. Make a motion to approve the special permit application for Neff Aki LLC to operate an event space at 31 Toby Road, units 3 to 4, in an I1 zone on 31 Toby Road Limited. The application is found to meet the special permit criteria found in section 9.5E, the zoning regulations. The application is approved with the following conditions as dated in Director LaFontaine's memo, September 25th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, just to add that the condition, I guess, to incorporate the commissioner's comments or questions.
Accept. Are we doing anything with the times, or are we clear with that? Hours
Yeah,
of
just, if you could just provide some clarification as to the closing time you want in those conditions.
12 p.m., right?
Well, Monday to Thursday, 9 to 1, and Friday to Saturday, what you say, 6 to 12. Do you
Well,
want
we kind of said no specifics on it, but just more focus on the closing
Correct.
versus the specific time.
Mr. Chair, to the applicant, would you like to add hours or a time for Sunday, just in case?
I'd say maybe no earlier than 9 p.m., no later than midnight.
On what day, Mr. Chair?
9 a.m.?
Yeah, because she said one of the programs she'd like to do, if it's like yoga or whatever it is, it's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I'd say maybe no earlier than 9 a.m. and no later than midnight, I guess Monday to Sunday? Or does the midnights during the day, weekdays too late, you guys think?
Have we done typically 10 p.m. during the week and then midnight during the weekend? And I was okay with the Sunday as well. And that would give flexibility. You know, if she wanted an afternoon event, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine with what Mr. Millet said, yeah. So 10 p.m. the latest, Monday to Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no later than midnight or 12.
That sounds good.
And then we're gonna stay with the no earlier than 9 a.m., correct?
Why would we do that? Have you ever gone to a yoga class? Like, they start at 6.
Oh, so you want to do earlier then?
Why? This is an I-1 zone. Why would we put such
Yeah.
restrictions on it?
Yeah, I think we were more concerned about the closing.
Closing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stand corrected then. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
As long as they don't open it at midnight.
Right.
Katie will be doing yoga at
Repeat those
midnight.
hours for me, please. I'm sorry. Could you repeat those?
Monday through Thursday till 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday till midnight. And that's gonna be an amendment to the original motion. Hey, Steve, you have something to say while we're doing this?
I would just like to see if you could weigh in. I don't know how you operate. And I think that, for instance, the brewery stays open later than that. So I'm not sure why or how the impact on her, how the hours would impact her operations, how competitive it is with other event spaces. I just defer to maybe allow Rosalind to answer what she thinks would be make her successful. Just the thought. Thank you.
Right.
We're trying
to make it consistent. We wanted to make
yeah.
it consistent with some of the other similar event planning places that recently opened up. And so that's why we kind of chose that time frame to be consistent with it and not have certain times for certain event planning places. So yeah, so that's why we'd probably like to stick to that. Those timeframes. Is there any other further discussion on this?
I accept the friendly amendments.
I accept it.
Thank you. All right, Steve, last one before we
That's
vote.
fine. That's fine. I appreciate it. I'm just wondering, are the events at churches and other establishments like that limited to 10 o'clock? I mean, apples to apples is I think would be appreciated. I can't speak for her business, but as a new business person, I think maybe she'd like to be able to offer an extra hour to people to get them to as an incentive to open up. Just a thought. I don't know what churches and other places of religion that have hold events offer. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
We're in the middle of a motion here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's vote, thanks.
Yeah, at this point, seeing no further discussion on this application, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose, abstention, and the chair votes aye. Thank you, and good luck on it.
Good luck, congrats.
Yeah.
Okay, next item on the agenda also is a new public hearing. And I'll read the application. Published in the Hartford Courant, September 15th, and again on September 22nd. Legal notice is hereby given that the Town Planning and Zoning Commission will hold its regular meeting virtually via Zoom on Thursday, September 28th, 2023 to consider the following. A special permit application from Jamari Copening for approval to open and operate a gaming and sports lounge at property located at 836 Park Ave, Unit 48 in the BCD zone. Owner Los Cobos 2 Equity LLC. Is there anyone here for that application, Justin?
Yes, we have both the applicants here. Guys, if you want to unmute yourselves.
Jamari, you there? Oh, okay.
Yes, I am here. So yeah, it would be actually a JXC Enterprises that would, obviously Los Cobos is the owner of the property, but it would be JXC Enterprises that would be for the event space. It'd be a JXC lounge. So I don't know if you guys remember us from last month. We went to the
Jamari, I'm sorry, enable your camera, please.
Oh, it's not. I'm not looking. That's
No.
great. Awesome. Sorry about that. You see me now?
Yep. Okay.
All right, here you go. So I don't know if you remember us from last month. We were the same individuals that were tried to open up a hookah lounge. Went to a drawing board, kind of looked at some things, took what the council gave us, some of the revisions. We looked at it and we made some revisions to what we wanted to do. Once again, I will implore and let you know that we didn't give up. We want to be here. If we didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be resubmitting an application here. Okay. We believe in the town. We believe that what the idea that we do have is something that is beneficial for the town, and it's something that will bring other businesses to Bloomfield. Once I have said to you once again, my mother is a resident of Bloomfield. She lives right around the corner from my actual establishment. My office, our office where I am right now is at 34 Jerome, right in Bloomfield. I grew up in this area pretty much all my life. Went to the movie theater, sad to see it go. Pretty much all my life with my grandmother. So we definitely believe where we are, and we definitely believe that our idea of what we have is something, like I said, that will bring some other businesses and a lot of entertainment to Bloomfield.
So I would like to just real quick, I would like to say thank you for having us back here again. Jamari, if you want to put up the screen share so we can show the revised drawing, the 3D plan. We took everything you said into consideration. We completely restructured this business. Will no longer involve hookah. And it's going to be a gaming and sports lounge. How we doing, Jamari?
I'm working on it. Give me 1 second. There we go.
So we added some pool tables. We have 2 pool tables. They have been relocated to the front of the establishment. Here we go. Great. Why don't you go to slide 2 or page 2? I would say. Here we go. I think you skipped one, or maybe not. So 2 pool tables now. We removed one section of the seating and we placed it in the back. That's going to be additional VIP area in the back. why don't you go through some slides and we can talk about it. That's another view. You're looking at the main entrance, 2 small VIP zones to each side of the entrance, 2 pool tables, and we kept the seating on the right side of the lounge. As you can see, we added more seats to our bar. Okay. Yeah, we added some more seating to our bar. We added a lot more televisions to cover all the sports. The televisions will be actually bigger, larger. Our architect made them small, but we're looking at high definition 4K televisions. The main one will be 85 inches. The rest of them will be 55 or 60 inch. Here we go.
270s. You have 270s too.
270s, yes. So this is our back area. This is just additional VIP area. Same thing, we're gonna have some televisions, 3 tables since we're now serving food. So we wanna make sure our table is large enough to accommodate for people eating food.
And also
Next
events.
slide, Jamari.
Also events, this back area also we had talked about before. It's not just regular games. We got board games, we got trivia nights, we got other different things that we're gonna actually do, card games. So that's the actual kitchen.
Okay, keep going. I wanted to talk about the stage. Here we go. That's a good slide. How about the next one? Here we go. Can we zoom it in a little bit? So I just wanted to talk about the stage. We took that into consideration. Someone brought up a question, if we're gonna have like a enclosed DJ booth, how will performers be presenting? So we removed the booth, we left the stage open. That way we can have comedians, we can even have live bands. Yeah. Sorry, I'm on the road. I can't really see. Here we go. Everything else stayed the same. We took all the notes on the bathroom doors. They were opening outwards. We got to make sure they open in. What else we got here? So basically everything is restructured now. The larger tables, same booths, additional TVs, some arcade games, 2 pool tables. So basically it's going to be a sports and gaming lounge, no longer a hookah lounge.
Some of the other things that would go along with the sports, locally, I am a huge sports fan, have a lot of family that are. So your local teams like your UConn, some of your Connecticut Sun. So we're kind of have some of those kind of, memorabilia and some things in there like that. Also because of the fact that very close to the community as far as with some of these sports events. I also still coach football. So I'm still in line with some of these kids. Actually, some of the kids from UConn I actually coached. So we have a good rapport with some of these teams in order to kind of, make it a good event. Maybe, at some point having some of the, older players come through, kind of meet and greets. So we got a lot of things we have planned that we want to kind of try to do.
I just wanted to point out that we will be applying for a liquor license based on a cafe permit. And we will be serving food. I'm not sure if Jamari mentioned it, it's in our business plan. We will be offering some Jamaican and Ukrainian food in addition to the typical bar food like wings and fries and stuff. So we're gonna offer some extra options, some unique items on the menu.
It'll probably be, my famous jerk wings, and some pierogies on his side. So some different things, we got some things planned.
Okay, excellent. Anything else you want to add during this presentation before we turn it over to Justin?
So yeah, we already talked about the premium TVs, dartboards, pool tables, liquor,
arcades, card games.
Arcades will be there. And we're really not limiting the age. Like I said, we plan on doing Wednesday night trivia nights, something for all ages. I mean, obviously, as older people like to do, maybe like, the trivia nights and, sometimes bingo, we will switch it up between the two. So
Karaoke
it's a
nights
place
as
for
well.
it's a place for everyone. Not just, just the 21 and, overcrowd, but, everyone that may want to just come and enjoy a drink, have a good time, watch a good sporting event, or just have some other live entertainment. Plan on, like I said, keeping a luxury. So, we will offer, I do want to work with local breweries and get some of the local beer and also some of the local wine. So, like I said, if you want to come and have a nightcap, you can do so. Dress code is strictly enforced too with us. We want to make sure that, like I said, it keeps with the luxury side. So no hats, no hoodies, face shields, casual wear. We do have VIP sections, and also the section in the back that we do have can be kind of rented out for like parties. Somebody wants to do like a trivia night party in the back, or if they want to do something else, we can kind of use that area for that. Or a business meeting. If you're on a business meeting, you're closed off. There's a door. So you'd be closed off from the other patrons where you can actually have, separate event space to have like you said, your meeting or something in the background. It's pretty much that's pretty much that's pretty much it.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, you can stop sharing the screen now.
Good.
Thank you. Justin.
All right, so yeah, like they mentioned, this is different plan back again. The issue, as you'll probably recall last time with the hookah lounges, there was really nothing allowing the commission to approve a hookah lounge in the center district. What they have here, a sort of restaurant, bar, game room combo, everything in that fits in with what we have in the regulations for the Bloomfield Center District, by special permit, of course. Couple things I wanted to add and mention. The applicants did go to the Economic Development Commission a few weeks ago. They presented this idea to them, and they got a unanimous vote of positive referral to this commission. So they were pretty excited about it. Some of the discussion that came up with that was focused around how there's really not a lot of entertainment type things in the town center district. There's a few restaurants, but they close relatively early. There's really no bar type thing like these guys are proposing. With the apartments around, this seems to be a good fit for that area. Goldman and York, our economic development consultants, were also keen on the idea. They thought it made sense and was a good step moving forward. Other than that, from the zoning aspect, obviously they need the special permit through here. Once they get that approval, if they get approval, they would need to get the cafe liquor license from the state. That also helps address some of the issues we were just talking about actually with the last application too, by having, bartenders and servers who are required to follow the state liquor license. There's more security that's added with that. So we have less to worry about in that respect. I think that's pretty much it. John and I have met with these guys a little while ago. John, do you have anything to add that you wanted to clue in?
I do not. I think you've covered it all, Justin. Except that I think the staff supports the application as revised.
Oh, great. Okay. All right. At this time, we'll take some questions from the public.
No hands.
No hands. Okay, we'll start with the commission. We'll start at the top. Any questions, Ms. Blunt?
Two, in the renderings, I don't see any refrigeration units. And I don't know if it's planned and just not shown, but I'd like to confirm.
Yes, there will be for refrigerated units in the kitchen, and then obviously under where the bar is, we will have those.
Yep.
Yes.
And then the room that you're talking about where people can have business meetings that's closed off, is that the one behind the stage?
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Millet.
Hours of operation?
So the hours of operation, standard bar hours, Monday through Friday, Monday through Wednesday would be 5 to 12. Thursday would be 5 to 1. Friday and Saturday would be 5 to 2 a.m. And then Sunday would be 11 to 10 o'clock. And that's to cover most of the Sunday football and any other sporting events on Sunday.
Sunday was what time?
Sunday was 11 to 10.
Sunday night football does not end at 10.
I know. I was thinking about it. I thought about it. I just looked at it. I'm like, it should be 11. So
Sometimes
yes, let me
11:15.
revise that. Yes, let me revise that to 11 o'clock. I am
Catering for overtime.
completely
Yeah, without overtime. Come on. We're waiting for the local news.
And you
Hey,
remember, Super Bowl-
listen. If
Super
I'm
Bowl-
allowed to stay up until 12, we will do 12. I have no problem with that on a Sunday. We definitely really would like to, like I said, have it to be a place for Bloomfield's community just to come. Their local bar. I don't want to say it's like Cheers, but they're a place where everyone where we know everybody. So you have your locals that come in all the time. You have the people that you see that that just become your regulars, and just a place where you also can enjoy some entertainment and have some fun.
Okay, great.
Have any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Peters, any questions?
No questions.
Okay, Mr. Oliver,
No questions. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Bolton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Director LaFountaine, the 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. Friday to Saturday, do we allow like an Elizabeth to stay open until 2 a.m.?
So the interesting thing is we don't actually have any specific rules in town as to when places can stay open until. The only thing that would put those limitations on is two things really, either this group through an approval like this, or in this example, Connecticut state law, because bars can't be open till past that. I actually had that open just for because I was kind of curious. So the cafe liquor licenses are 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday, and 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. on Sunday.
Okay.
So.
Thank you for that. It's Jamari and Anatoly, right?
Correct.
First of all, I want to commend you both on your persistence to come back with a new concept within 30 days. Good job. And you are committed for that. Jamari, I want to just shout you out for your commitment to the town of Bloomfield and your just desire to stay here and be a be a fabric of this community. So just both of you, thank you and good job. Your DJ booth, you're not trying to make this into like first of all, I love the concept, but I don't want to see a club scene in the center of town. You're not trying to make this into a club at 1 a.m.
No. So it's not a club. We will, like you said, we will have DJs. We will have disc jockeys there, but it's only the simple fact to keep up with the same as many other bars in our neighboring towns that have DJs on Saturday and Sunday.
You don't have a dance floor, do you? Do you have a dance floor? Do you have a dance floor?
No, it's pretty much where you are in your seats. It's pretty much no dance floor.
Okay.
Similar setup to like if you've been to West Hartford, like a shish. There is no dance floor. Pretty much people just kind of like dance in their own place.
My only other thing is I don't eat meat, so I hope you have a vegetarian option when I get there.
We definitely, come on, I'm Jamaican.
There's plenty.
I'm Jamaican too.
I'll throw some, I have something. Don't worry.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Mr. Hussein.
Yeah, again, thanks again for your like Commissioner Bolton said, your persistence. A couple more questions I have on the timing. If you're trying to push the restaurant part of it, you're only opening for dinner right now. You're not considering lunch?
At this exact time, no, as we expand and things grow for us, that is a possibility.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. And Justin, can you explain the cafe liquor license versus a regular Republic liquor license? Can you explain what's the difference with those?
Yeah, so as I learned in reviewing this application, the state has about 30 different liquor license types. Things ranging from things you wouldn't even think of. Airport liquor license is a separate liquor license. But anyway, cafe liquor license is meant to be more of a standard bar type thing. Republic has a restaurant liquor license, which requires more of a food service with it. While food is still required for a cafe liquor license, it doesn't necessarily have to be hot food. It can be, more like snack items and things like that. So if you're going to have, if your primary operation is more of like the food, you're going to get a restaurant liquor license. If it's more geared towards the bar, it's going to be a cafe liquor license. If that helps explain it. That's what I got out of it. And Jamari and Anatoly, I don't know if your research has shown anything in addition to that.
No, yes, I mean, pretty much the same thing. See, with a cafe liquor license, we could also bring a food truck, outside food. If I wanted to maybe bring in a local restaurant, they can bring in food. Like if I wanted to work with maybe, I don't know, I forgot the name of the restaurant next door. Oh my goodness. Carbones. So if they want to bring over food, or if they had like some items that we kind of want to do, like maybe they have their desserts, we can actually sell their desserts in our establishment if we gain a relationship with them. So it's different things like that.
Is it mandatory to have the food sales to have the license? What if they didn't decide the restaurant wasn't doing well and they don't sell food anymore?
I thought in that liquor's license, for a cafe, it does say that you could do an option of no food. Yes.
So from what I understand, you have to have the option of food, but it can be, like you said, from someplace next door, someplace where you have order in options.
So I guess the question I'm asking is that if they're no longer selling the food, is it still considered, if there's a no food option, is it still considered a cafe liquor license?
In order to get the license from the state, they would have to show that they either have food on site or would be able to bring in food. If at any point that ability stopped, they would be in violation of their liquor license with the state. So they need to follow through with that. Otherwise, the state liquor commission is going to come down on them.
All right, I just want to clarify that because I want to make sure that as much as you're pushing I like the idea too. I want us to make sure we're not violating any of that type of stuff. And I encourage you guys to keep the food going if you can, because I think most people that come out to have dinner or a drink or whatever, they want to have food, especially later in the evening. So
it also allows us to bring a food truck too. So like you have at the breweries where they bring a food truck and they don't necessarily sell food, but they have a food truck there. We can also do the same thing.
And I assume there's no more hookah, right? There's no hookah in the premises, correct?
No.
That was made crystal clear. No hookah, no.
No.
The VIP options too, there's not really anything special about that. It's just a special booth. If you just wanted to do like bottle service or something, you can get that.
Bottle
VIP.
service, yes. You get bottle service, you get your own private TV for the VIP booths. You would also have your own standard, waitress, bottle girl. So it's just more exclusive for you at that point.
Oh, okay.
And to be honest with you, the very simple reason for that restructure is because somebody said we need more pool tables. I completely agreed with it. I just couldn't figure out where to put them, and I decided to take the furniture from the big room and put it in the back, and that gave us the ability to fit 2 pool tables instead of 1.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
All right, that's all the questions I have to know, Commissioner. Sorry, Chair.
Not forget about the arcades. The arcades are there too.
And arcades, yes.
Actually, just one more quick thing. There's no gambling, correct? Because technically you need a license to do the gambling too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
not.
no, there is not. We will have bar top video game systems, but we will probably look at that later on as we go forward.
Because I think one of the things I've heard in a couple of the Facebook posts I read is that the way you guys made it sound, gaming and sports bar, made it seems like it was some sort of gambling, this
video gaming.
Yeah.
Video gaming, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank
Don't
you.
get me.
Okay, great. Mr. Oliver.
Yes, I just don't want you to forget. You mentioned a lot of colleges, and you do have University of Hartford right down the street, so I wouldn't forget about them. Also, I hope you're gonna have a spades night because I'm coming down if you are. Thank you.
Yes, we will have a spades
Yes,
night, and
sir.
I plan on actually doing a tournament for spades. So
Okay.
we're gonna actually do a grand prize for that. You pay. See,
Okay. We'll see you.
So it's gonna be some fun.
All right. Thank you.
Miss Adams.
Don't forget the dominoes and the ping pong.
Dominoes, we got ping pong. I gotta try to fit in there. Maybe
I
if
know,
we can flip over a pool table or the
Mhm.
top, maybe we can try to do it that way. But dominoes, definitely.
We'll put
have
you on a
guys
stage if we have to.
There you go. Have you guys identified any extra space around there in case you need to expand? Because I see it being very successful.
Yes.
Right
Actually,
next door,
yes,
ma'am.
yeah, right next door.
Okay,
We've
good.
already talked about it. We'll blow that whole wall out and actually take the whole next door event space if everything works to what we think it's going to.
Okay, good.
Mr. Chair, I did have one quick follow-up question about the noise ordinance and the noise. Justin, they're gonna follow whatever we have in the ordinance there, correct?
Correct. They'll have to follow all that. One of the conditions I have on my draft is that there be no outdoor amplification as well.
Hmm.
So I have a
And
quick question.
what-
Sorry, I was sure if I was speaking. So in regards to the noise and the discussion about outdoor food, if the interior restaurant is not doing successful, you guys mentioned food truck. Would that not be in opposition of outdoor activity? To have a food truck in the parking lot to serve patrons to go back into the facility?
So this would be basically like a special event basis. It wouldn't be something regular. Obviously, we will serve our own food, and I know people will display interest in European food and Jamaican food, particularly Ukrainian, Polish pierogies. Food truck idea is more of like a special event. And I would like to piggyback on the noise ordinance. In the last meeting, economic development meeting, someone brought up sound panels, so I was looking into that as well. I'm a sound engineer. I have a sound meter, so I'll make sure to comply with all the local regulations.
Okay, you all set, Mr. Peters?
Yes, I'm all set.
Oh, okay, thank you. I don't have any questions. So we can see if there's any public comments.
I'm not seeing any hands.
Okay, at this point, we'll start with Miss Adams. Any comments?
I want to thank you guys for still believing in Bloomfield and thinking that we're worthwhile for you to come back even after the previous opposition. You have a vision and you're running with it. And again, I just want to thank you for not giving up on us.
Thank you.
Mr. Hussein,
No comments, thank you.
Mr.
Welcome.
Oliver,
Congratulations.
Yeah. Best of luck. I wish the best for you guys, and I'll see you spades night.
Mr. Bolton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, I wish you guys the best. I think you're going to be successful. I think the town certainly is lacking in that kind of entertainment. I'm not too thrilled about the food truck idea, but I guess we'll have to see how that works. If you're going to be cooking, you have a kitchen. I think the food should remain indoors. I'm not quite certain how the food truck plays into all this, but I think you have a great concept, a great idea, and I think you're going to be successful. So good luck.
Mr. Peters.
I'm very excited. I do want to say Commissioner Bolton kind of already stole my thunder in the remarks that I wanted to say and applaud you on turning this whole plan around within 30 days. I'm very excited to see the changes. I think this is an amazing concept compared to last time. And I think this is exactly what we need within the town center. also not excited about the food truck idea. And honestly, I feel like based upon what I've seen and what I hear, I don't think that you'll even need that portion. I think the food, which if it's as good as you guys are pitching it to be, I think you guys are going to have enough interest in your own establishment to grow and take on that other unit. So I'm hoping for your success.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Blint,
If approved, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Millet.
A much improved plan. I think it definitely aligns to the goals we've set out for the center of town and just the type of land use that we'd like to see there. And so thanks for the presentation, your vision.
Okay. And my last comments is I'll echo some of my former commissioner comments. I'm glad that you guys did revise it and come back and not take what happened last month personal, but just understand that for what you were trying to do, we just had no way to get there based on our regulations. But I do applaud you for coming back with something, with a vision that where you fill the gap that was needed, and that was some entertainment in that area. And I think we all kind of like what you're doing, and I appreciate you coming back, and I wish you a lot of success if everything passes.
Well, I'll just let you say this. My mom lives around the corner. Believe me, if I do anything wrong, she will definitely. She'll drag me out.
All right, well, you guys have the last chance. If there's anything else you want to make for closing remarks, now's the time.
You want to go first, Tony? Or are you good?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll leave it up to you, Jamari.
No, you leave it up to me. This has been a vision for me and my partner for a very long time. We were looking for the right location. We feel that, hence us coming back again, that this is the right location. And we plan on making this the most successful place in Bloomfield. And that's where our head is, and that's where we plan on being. So our drive is, and our passion is where it is, and it's not going to stop us. And we do plan on expanding, and we plan on making, like I said, that center a nice, respectable place where people can come, more businesses come, and help to build Bloomfield Center.
Yes. Okay, at this point, the chair entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any further discussions? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose, abstention, the chair votes aye. Okay, chair entertain a motion on this application.
I'll be glad to make that motion. I'll make a motion to approve the special permit application for Anatoly Ashore to operate a gaming and sports lounge at 836 Park Avenue, Wittenberry Mall, Unit 48 in the BCD zone. Owner, Los Cabos, Sue Equity LLC, as represented in the application and during this hearing. The application is found to meet the special permit criteria found in section 9.5E of the zoning regulations. The approval is conditioned on the representations made on the record, and the following conditions is outlined in Director LaFontaine's memo dated September 25th, 2023.
I just want to add one thing. Did we need to mention anything about the time? Hours?
Director LaFontaine?
So the way I crafted the memo, it's based on their representations tonight. So if you're good with the hours they presented to you, then you're all set. You don't need to clarify anything.
Okay, and our final total was at 11:11 Sunday.
We'll go to 12 Sunday just in case there's some overtime.
Okay, 11 to 12 Sunday, Friday and Saturday, 5 to 2.
Correct.
and Monday through Wednesday, 5 to 12.
Correct.
Okay,
And Thursday would be 5 to 1.
yes, correct. Thursday, 5 to 1. Okay. All right, yes, if that can be included in there. Mr. Bolton,
Accept.
fantastic. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Get a
Opposed?
second, you get a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay,
Second by
is there a
Ms.
second?
Commissioner Oliver.
Seconded.
Okay, I'm sorry, second by Commissioner Oliver. All right. Now, we'll take a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Signify- Opposed?
Aye.
Abstention, and the chair votes aye. Okay, congratulations and welcome to Bloomfield.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Council. Thank you. Thank you.
Looking forward.
We're ready.
Oh, great night.
Definitely ready. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Okay, you too.
Thank you.
Justin, next item on the agenda under old business. Are we doing anything with that?
Yeah, you know what, when we did the vote for the initial public hearing and the special permit, I don't think we mentioned the site plan. So just to clarify, we should take another vote on that just to finalize things, make sure we have it.
Okay. Is there a motion on this, for this 5A? What I'll do is I'll just read it as part of the application. This is a second part of the application, for the cultivating facility. A site plan application from AYR Wellness Incorporation to construct a 64,000 square foot, one-story building for use as a cannabis cultivation facility at property located at 101 Granby Street in the I-1 zone. The owner is Granby Toby LLC. Is there approval for this site plan?
No move.
I'll second it.
It's been moved in second. Any further discussion on this?
Yeah, I just want to add that if we can incorporate the same, obviously the conditions that were mentioned in the director's letter, in addition to the commissioner's comments and questions that arose tonight in that meeting for the public hearing to be incorporated into the site plan.
Okay, and I just have one. Justin, is it correct that that's only one story? That building?
The cannabis facility?
Yeah,
Yeah, let me pull up
because
the,
on this site plan, it's only for one story.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
only one.
It is one story. It's 25 feet high though, but it's still
Right.
one story.
Okay,
right.
okay, gotcha. All right. Is there a motion on this application, site plan approval?
I accepted it and I think
It's been moved and seconded.
It's been moved in second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstention, chair votes aye. Under new business. I believe we probably have to vote to approve and to accept Privilege Road as a town road. Is that
Yeah.
correct, Justin?
Yeah, so just a bit of clarification on this one. First time we've had this in a while, when a subdivision gets approved and a new road gets built and it gets transferred over to the town, it goes through a whole process, and basically that process involves the engineering department reviewing it and making sure everything is built up to the town specs and standards. Once that process is done and engineering is satisfied with it, first of all, engineering lets us know and we forward it to you, just to make the formal vote to accept it. Once you vote to accept it, it gets switched over to town council for the final approval. Essentially, this is an 824 referral where it's the acceptance of a town improvement. in this case, engineering department said that the road was built very, very well. They have no concerns.
Okay, great. All right, Chair entertain a motion to approve and accept Privilege Road as a town road.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, been moved in second. Any further discussion on it?
Yeah, quick question. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry. Just for learning purposes, what does it benefit the town to take responsibility for the road?
Yeah, so when subdivisions get approved, they are either designed to meet town roads or they're, designed as private roads. In this case, when this was initially approved, it was designed as a town road.
Okay.
And there are pros and cons both ways. But in this case, because of the amount of development that is on it, it makes sense to accept it as a town road.
Yes, it's definitely a large development. Thank you. I appreciate that, Justin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my quick question to you, I know engineering accepted it, so obviously there's no additional burden or strain on our plowing or maintaining the road, correct?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
I know you said that engineering reviewed this and they had no issues with it, but there's no additional burden for us to plow the road, right?
No, it will be plowed. It will be maintained as a town road.
Right, but I guess obviously there would be some additional burden, but once we don't take away from the additional services are being provided.
Right.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose, abstention, and the chair votes aye.
Mr. Chair, just a quick question. I believe there was a question, and Justin, in the chat from Mrs. Fisher about comments. I don't, and you can clarify it, but I don't think site plan approval require public comments, correct?
Correct. I was actually just typing out a response. You're right. The public hearing of that public hearing portion of that application was closed at the beginning of the meeting.
Oh, that was for the cultivation facility?
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay, next item on the agenda is staff updates and referrals.
Really just one thing I wanted to let you guys know. Bloomfield just got awarded $250,000 for a town center master plan. We're really excited about this. It's through the CIF, which is the Community Investment Fund. It's really going to hopefully revitalize the town center area. And, the type of application that we had this evening with the sports lounge and bar, exactly the kind of thing that we're hoping is going to, push the town center to be, a more vibrant area that more people will come to. So long story short with that, it's going to be a little bit of time while we process the administrative paperwork and everything that goes along with that. We just found out that we got the award yesterday or 2 days ago. But once that happens, what we'll be doing is we'll be going to an RFP to select a consultant who will help us with the process. And once that process takes place and we have a consultant all lined up, what we'll be doing is getting a lot of different groups involved. EDC is going to lead that charge, but we're certainly going to want this group involved, and there might be some focus groups and whatnot where we'll have, open invitations for, any members from this group that want to participate. Beyond the town groups, of course, we're going to have local business owners and everything like that involved. It's a really, really exciting process, and we can't wait to get it started.
That's awesome. Wow.
Any questions for Justin?
Yeah, the director of home. So I was aware of the 250,000, and I'm excited to see that we're getting that type of funding. What is the outcome for the $250,000? What are we doing? 250,000.
Yeah. So the end result with that is, how we're doing the plan of conservation right now for the whole town. Picture this as a very, very detailed, very, very specific plan for the town center area. So this will include things like economic development incentives. How can we encourage businesses and whatnot to come to the town center? It'll include physical upgrades, things like, where we want, more pedestrian access, how we want to do public parking areas, things like that, connectivity type things. And it'll include, different studies of different areas, parcels that are vacant right now, what might be good uses there, parcels that are underutilized, what could be done to improve what's going on there. It's really, it's a very, very detailed plan for a very specific area. John, do you want to add into this? Because John's going to be, helping lead the charge with this too.
No, I just think I would just picture it's like a mini master plan for the area of downtown. And besides having, uses, hopefully we'll actually get what'll come out of it will be what I would call a preliminary sketch plan of what the town center might look like if this plan was implemented. Stretching the entire town center from the police station on the east side, at least that far, to the library and Riley Lumber on the west side, and Geisler's Market on the north side, and probably all the way down to the intersection of Gab and Bloomfield Avenue on the south side. So it's got a pretty good geographic area that we want to define as the town center, and then really give us a good picture of what it could look like if we implemented this particular type of plan in terms of the mix of uses and even the scale of uses, and to some degree obviously the interrelationship and connectivity between the uses, and all of that. So it'd be, should be extremely detailed. And thank you for also, how long is this going to take? We think that we should have be able to have the RFP and the selection process completed, understanding that every step we do has to get approved by the state as we go forward. Hopefully have the process ready to start
Is that DEC
by early 2024, and then probably allow a year for it to be done, so that full adoption could be the end of next year or early 2025.
Is the controlling entity DECD for the state?
Correct.
Yes, DCED, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so most of that goes to the consultant, some consultant firm, correct?
Yeah, I figured that.
Pretty much.
A lot of money though. Kevin.
It almost seemed redundant.
Yeah.
Redundant to the PLCD.
Yes, exactly. It's just going to be more fine-tuned. My only thing is that I wish we can do this, and I guess I'll charge you, John, since you're going to be spearheading this, is we need to figure out how do we move DOT traffic division to get the two roundabouts and have this master plan tie into that, right? To show why we need that, so that they're both on the same page, so we can expedite those two rotaries. Because if that's not done, nothing else is going to get done, I don't think, because we can have this 250 grand for consultant, that's what they want to see. But if we don't move Condot under two rotaries,
Right.
with the library and everything else in the master plan, it's all for nothing. So how do we move the needle in that part at DOT? With this pending, even if with this pending master plan that we're going to get now,
I think we get more leverage with the fact that we're going to have this plan, and we may have to have, as part of the plan, a transportation consultant that absolutely, that puts it in the plan and can defend it, and go to DOT with that.
Because I think that's a key part.
And then they backed off because they didn't think they could make it work because of the traffic counts. I think we can
That's
certainly
what
go
I
back
thought
at them.
several years ago. They moved away from that.
They did because they didn't think they had concerns about the movement and the actual number of vehicles going through the two intersections.
Right.
But I have already raised with, in my capacity as our representative at the Capital Region Council of Governments, and in my capacity as chair of the Transportation Committee there, the fact that the state is making a lot of significant transportation improvements on their roads, and remember, these are their roads, when all is said and done, in a number of our surrounding towns, but they have not addressed the two most significant intersections in our town, that being this intersection and the intersection of Cottage Grove Road and Blue Hills Avenue, which in essence acts as an interstate, as we all know, because 290, it's basically an extension of 291. And so we are working a number of anvils, Kevin, to try and, but your point is well put. And
let Rob Eloise know from CROG that I'll be on his case, so remind him of that. And then if you can get me who the consultant is, or the DOT engineer that's in charge of that, and I can try to work some magic on the back end of my connections too.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Excellent. Okay, so that's back on the table then, the roundabout?
Well, we're gonna put it back on the table. I wouldn't say it's on the table at the moment, Mr. Chairman. But that doesn't mean we can't get it back on the table.
Right.
Get it back in the radar. How about that?
Right, I mean, right now, they're not addressing the intersection at all. It's basically in limbo.
Okay.
And our town engineer, Jonathan Tisi, has come up with some traffic pattern alternatives to the roundabouts that he think might be a suitable option. So even if it's not roundabouts, something needs to be done there. That's a given. And what this plan will do is hopefully, like John mentioned, it'll provide a catalyst to get that change implemented. The other thing that this plan does is the more times you mention certain projects and plans, the more it opens you up to funding from state grants in the future. So think of this almost like a wish list too, where we, put out what we're looking to do. And that way, when grant opportunities come up through the state or through the federal government, we can point to this and say, look, we've been trying to do this. Give us money to do it.
Gotcha.
So
Like having a shovel-ready project.
Exactly.
And a plan to do it. So when, if ARPA grants come down the road again or some other grants, we can jump on them.
Hey, I have a question. Speaking of the center, what's the status of the old Alexandria Manor?
Yeah, so that one it's moving, but it's moving slowly. We still anticipate that project to be completed, but it's moving slower than we anticipated.
Okay.
Was that across from Geisler's?
Yeah.
Yes, up on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
Been going on for a while now.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
a
Long while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple, like 3 years, right?
Isn't that where
Wouldn't
someone
it?
wanted to put a hotel?
Yes.
It'd be a
Still
nice
a good
spot.
location.
I know Kate wants that hotel, right, Kate?
A hotel in Bloomfield.
Yeah, we definitely need one. I agree.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody had any other questions for Justin or Jonathan?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to.
Thank you for your service again.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to withdraw my request that we meet in person until next spring.
Oh, that's right. Winter's coming, huh?
Between the winter and the COVID,
Hey, duly noted.
I did want to bring up the issue of tiny houses. And I don't really have anything other to say about them, except that it does seem to be a trend that more and more towns are looking at for affordable housing, and kind of like, I don't know if they're on residential parcels that can be, subdivided, but, as rental units, kind of like ADUs. But I think it was a great idea that Jonathan brought up a while ago, and I don't want to let it go. As a commission, all the planning that we could be doing, trying to get ahead of things. I would love to see Bloomfield be a leader in that area, at least in the greater Hartford area.
So on that note, we're hoping that there's going to be an application before you guys in the next few months or so. We've actually been talking to a few individuals who are interested in that type of development in town. As you know, our zoning regs don't really have a specific provision for them. But one of the things that one of the potential applicants is doing is crafting a regulation that will allow that and, provide some guidelines and things to have that sort of development. So the last we talked to them, they have been working with their attorney and their, site designer to make sure everything is working well. And we did just hear from them not too long ago, right, John? Just that they are still moving forward.
Still moving forward, yeah.
And so we're really looking forward to that. It should be good.
Yeah.
Well, we're as excited as you are about the potential, and as you sent to us, you can go buy one at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, is there anyone that can come in and give us a little presentation on it?
Yeah, we can certainly look into that.
Certainly ask those we've talked to, and it's not one that we would recommend in terms of design, but apparently there is one that's been constructed or installed in Meriden. But the pictures we saw of it were very unattractive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of Meriden's.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice for us to at least get an idea on, what it's like inside and out, and, what locations would be more suitable for it. Right now, it's only something you can kind of.
We could send them the link of the one in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a nice development.
There's a tiny home development just outside of Atlanta. It's actually where the town manager went when he left Bloomfield, that community.
In College Park.
These are very high end, but they're exceedingly attractive.
Mm-hmm.
When you say tiny homes, scale wise, what are we talking? Less than 1,000 square feet?
Yes. It could be, some are as small as 450, but they're more like about 650.
Like a studio.
For one individual or a family of three, or?
Well, it depends. For one individual, and the ones in Atlanta are designed so they can mix and match, so that they add an additional unit if it's a larger family and whatnot. But they're not McMansions.
Right. Whether they're the size of a trailer, like a trailer home, but built like a home.
They could also go up too.
Right. You can go up.
Right.
No, I wouldn't make them like a trailer home. They're not single wides and double wides. They're a new design. And most of them some are stick built, but most of them are manufactured.
It'd be nice to get a little presentation on it, so we can at least see what it's like.
Yeah, that's something that even together. John and I can put together.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent.
All right.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, or entertain that motion.
Move we adjourn.
Second that.
Okay. Great. Okay, guys.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Good night.
Have a nice day.
Got early dinner.
Okay.
Early dinner tonight, huh?
Huh?
An early dinner tonight.
I know.
Who's winning?
I think Detroit. Have a good night, guys.